Hello, everybody, and we are back. PJ lied to you. It's not Keanu Reeves fan club and PentaChill, or Keanu Reeves fan club and whoever that other team was supposed to be. I'm sorry, I forgot. It's actually PentaChill and BerGerr Is the Support, because yet again, Smite Spectator is bad, and the replays were broken. So here we are. And yeah, with this game, like I said before, they didn't have, they had to remake the game, so they started blind picks. So we can talk about the picks right now as they start getting into it. Slimer, what do you think?
Well, you put me on the spot now because I was thinking, blind pick, I don't need to worry about it. If I knew the order that things went, then I imagine Ares was a relatively early on pick because although it can pick up the Poseidon, Khepri, and Cerdanos there, you tend to find that comp's actually pretty decent at dealing with Ares. If somebody is misfortunate enough to get pulled by that Ares and Khepri's anywhere near, they can just get ulted out. And obviously with this buff, his flames do an absolute devilish work of clearing. And it seems like everyone's positioning over here in solo.
Yeah, this is what we've been seeing on the NA side as opposed to the EU. EU don't like this start with the supports over in the solo lane, but NA tends to favor it. Gives
Yeah,
the...
I mean,
Go ahead.
with the new changes to duo lane with that little ghost minion to get you that extra XP, it doesn't surprise me that they just let that ADC solo farm, because the quicker that ADC gets online, the better it is. But it seems like, so this solo lane, red team did just lose out on the clear. It seems like BerGerr's pushing up and nope, going for their blue. I'm actually very interested in this start. So the jungle goes over to mid afterwards then. And they go for red and let the support and solo take blue.
Exactly.
Look at this. I'm here casting and I'm just learning. It seems like ADC's having quite a dull time. As you'd expect. Not really fighting, just clearing, waiting to go for farm. They don't really want to deal with each other at this point. Discordia's been very poked out in mid though. But then Poseidon pushes up to try and fight her and gets himself poked out quite severely too. Appears the jungle's going to help his ADC do purple.
It looks like Khepri's in a bad spot over on the right-hand side. Those Ares chains and the Zhong too much for him.
Achilles pushing up as well.
Also in a bad spot. See if he can escape under his tower in time, but it is not far enough under. That Zhong with the level 2 just whops.
Yeah, no, that is 2 kills quite early on, and you do not want to fight a fed Zhong at any point. You don't see the character picked up that much, but if he gets enough farm, he can become an absolutely unstoppable force. That natural tankiness he gets from that passive, if he clicks 4 and he's got 2 levels on you, you got no chance. You run away, you can't hide, especially if he gets a gem of isolation online.
Zhong is one scary dude.
It's interesting to see the jungler for... Oh?
We've got to get a pause here. Looks like somebody must be having some connection problems, but nothing much happening, just a little bit of poking around in mid. What were you saying, Slimer?
It's interesting to see that the jungler for BerGerr here has opted to pick up this Beads first relic as opposed to a more aggressive Blink, which you tend to see, especially on those Humbatses where you can get that level 5 Blink in and ult. This Poseidon, who, if he doesn't have Beads up, what are you going to do with a Humbatse ult on you? But he's opted for this lot safer pick of this Beads, just to be able to escape in case he gets CC chained. I mean, if Poseidon puts down a Whirlpool on him, and there's a Kraken waiting, it could be a world of pain for him. So I think this is more of a respect pick to grab this Beads, try and not die. So you
also,
can just jump out with the Beads.
Yeah, it'll also help him in cases of ganks onto the Oceanus. Don't want to be turned into a, let's see what skin we have here. Just a regular old pig. Never mind.
Oh, this Ares is hitting these chains. This Khepri's quite low. He only just hit level 2 right now. But Poseidon's answering back. A fair bit of damage both ways here. It seems like Achilles is very, very much poked out. This is Zhong 2 levels ahead of him already. There's no chance. Oh, doing a lot of damage to him right now. He's down to 50 health, but the stun just about manages to get him out. He is A-okay.
Zhong is in a position here with enough minions, though, to be able to go in a little bit more aggressively, but he's just going to go for the blue buff invade instead.
Yeah, he's not going to want to risk diving at this level. He's maybe if he gets his ult off this buff here, off the wave, he can afford to play that much more aggressive. It seems like
Achilles still sticking
Achilles is
around
coming
though.
to test.
Oh, over in the
Junkway
mid
goes,
lane, we've
wait a
got some.
second, you
Oh,
wanna
we've got
fight?
a party over in the mid lane here. Whole bunch of people. Big
Oh,
old
that
poked
tidal
out,
surge.
nice poked out Hunbats there, but not as much excitement as I expected. Back to the solo side, where Jean-Qui has dropped his ult on
No, they're still fighting in
Achilles.
mid.
Are they?
As
Gosh, there's
Kepri
so much
tries
happening.
to dash into this Ares, but he chains him just in time. That could have been a lot of damage if that dash had actually connected on time. But Ares just about manages to keep himself alive. And it seems like blue team are going to have to take the back foot on this fight. I feel
Over.
so bad for this Achilles.
We sort of missed it over on the solo side, but oh wait, never mind. I lied. I'm not paying attention. Sorry. Back to what was happening in the mid lane. Discordia's dropped her ult onto the Kepri, but Kepri's got a used his shell. Didn't do much. Walked right on out.
As one does.
As one does.
This
Just
Poseidon refuses to back. He's like, I
that
will stay.
sounds
Half
like
health?
me.
No. I
Sounds
don't
like
care.
me.
Keeps getting hit by these sacred monkey bounces. And
Is
they
that what
do
that's called?
jump.
It's called Sacred
Yes, it's
Monkey.
called sacred. I'm fairly sure it's called sacred monkey.
That's awesome. Apollo and Cern are being pretty aggressive here trying to fight. Cern Auto's hurt and he's dashing
Oh,
aggressively
Sun
at the
dashes
Apollo.
in. He hits the two, but the root does not connect, so he cannot
And,
keep him controlled.
and the minions body block him from continuing that chase as well.
Yeah. Just the wise
Over in the mid lane, lots of Ares chains into this Kepri as well as Discordia root, but Kepri is quite tanky, able to walk away with not enough CC or
But
damage to
Ares
confirm
was
that.
literally 1 minion away from 5. If that minion had died a moment earlier, he would have been able to pull that Kepri, especially with that shell not available already potent.
Oh,
Well,
now
here
he goes
comes
for it
the
instead.
ult anyway. Kepri has no ult available, but Poseidon has his beads, and he just pops down an ult. Very much dissuades them for carrying on that fight. Do not want to deal with that.
Robin blinks in onto this Ares here. Robin,
He still
quite a
has
bit of
his ult
damage.
available,
And
but
his
oh,
ult
he ults
jumps
in.
over the Humbat's ult,
Oh, he misses
but
the back
unable to
foot flip,
confirm.
whatever it's called. Overhead
Overhead kick.
kick.
Think.
I
Something.
think between us we got that one.
For
Overhead
something.
kick, yes. It is called
But
overhead kick.
jumping over that Humbat's ult is what I'm looking at. That was cool. I like that.
Well, he was unaware the Humbats was there.
True, but he still
He
went
jumped
over
to
it.
chase, and it was very fortunate. Oh, the Zhonghui does end up getting that solo kill. This
That
poor
poor
Achilles, I
Achilles.
honestly, I feel so bad for him because what are you doing against this Zhonghui? He will outclear you. He will out-sustain you. There's nothing you can do. That tower's HP already. Zhonghui's not even been hitting it.
There's not much to fault the Achilles here for. It's just a really unfortunate matchup.
Oh yeah. On the side of red team here, only 49 tower damage, but that tower is almost dead already. If he didn't have that TP available, honestly, that Zhonghui might have been able to pressure into that.
Oh, 100%.
But the support back to solo. Poseidon by himself here. He should be fine though.
Yeah, it doesn't
Since
look
Ares
like
has opted for the blink. I know I was saying about the Humbats going for the more passive beads. Ares did not care for passiveness. He wanted. Oh, and there we go.
There's
Speaking
that
of the blink,
and that ult.
here it comes. The beads are not available.
Poseidon with the ult in return though to try and kill the Discordia on the backline.
Oh, so close. The Discordia just about gets away. Does not actually have to worry about that ult. But there was enough damage on red team that Poseidon was not living through that. That Bancross rush, it gives him a lot of survivability in a fight. But he did not have the mobility to get close enough to that Discordia to kill her, especially with her hiding behind minions.
Right.
Even though he has his passive, after plopping down that ult, you do lose quite a fair chunk of it.
In all honesty, I think Poseidon realized that he was probably going to go down there, so he figured he'd try to at least get something onto the Discordia, maybe with the hope that a teammate was around the corner who could come around and clean it up, or really anything.
I think he was being a little bit greedy, if I'm honest. If he plopped down that ult and then carried on running, he was fine. That Ares did not connect that chain. Once that chain missed, he should have realised he'd get away. But he saw the Discordia alone and got baited. Oh, Raven blinks in on the Discordia, but she just threes away. Find me in that fog. Good luck with that. So that was, unfortunately, a wasted blink on that Raven here. The Zhonghui's heading off to proxy a wave. It seems like blue team are going to rotate to see if they can get a kill on him, but Raven does not have that blink available. They might lose tower for this as well, depending on how long this Zhonghui can delay these here. because he is level 10. And there's the ult pops. That's it. Try and damage him now. There you go. 3 people on the enemy team, half health. And how much HP does he lose? About 30.
None. He just walks right away.
Yep.
He's
And he
got
gets the tower as well. This is
the
looking
Jonqui's
very
level
bad for
lead
blue
is
team.
ridiculous at this point.
Oh yes, for sure.
He's 4 levels up on his laning partner and a level above even the next highest person, which is the Cernuno on the other side of the map. This is just scary.
Very
He's
hard
scary. Run
He
far,
is
far away.
running at the enemies. He does not care. He just saw 3 people walk up to him and he got away unscathed. He is not at all afraid of this. If we look at the player damages here, you just see that everyone's around the same. Score just spiking up at 2.6k. Zhong Kui though, over double that damage.
Almost 6k.
It's
Whew.
it is quite the difference. And that's the terror that
Terrifying.
you face with that Zhong. When they gave up those 2 kills early, they gave that Zhong Kui means to take them out. Oh, it seems like red team are looking to invade that red, but Raven secures it and he's just going to disengage. Zoom away with that speed buff. But no, this is just under 10 minutes and BerGerr Is the Support has already got a 4,000 gold lead. It's looking to be very tough for blue team. Is there anything you think they can do to bring that back?
You gotta shut down the. I don't know that shutting down the Zhong Kui is possible now, but you have to either shut him down or catch up.
Yeah. Gotta
And
focus on farming up to that.
That's gonna be a big task because there's despite yes, the Zhong Kui is doing very, very well over on solo side, but there's a fair bit of pressure in mid, and duo side is pretty much tied up, I would say. Cern's in the lead more or less, but
yeah, this is just slowly winning the league. But he is a level under, which is probably both to do with farming as well as that tower, the tier 1 tower over right lane going to red team.
Yep.
Because there is not much in it. Yeah,
it's going to be a hard press one for PentaChill at this point. A Zhong Kui in the lead is not. That's hard to overcome.
Very much
we were saying it from the beginning here that if that Zhong Kui can come out on top, it
seems like there's a fight in left here. Raven just uses that overhead kick to get out. The Discord roll almost bounces and hits the unsuspecting Cern. The Raven blinks away. He sees the Ares. He goes, nope, I just used my 2. I'd rather not have to use my ult as well. I'm going to just blink away. Ares collapsing on Poseidon now. He does not know what's coming. Or the chain does not connect. And so he just tries to get away.
Here comes the Ares ult anyways.
Beads is false though. And he will have his blink up to be able to blink ult the Poseidon next time that is up. And if he gets that Khepri as well, it's possible they have the burst. I think
possible.
This Discordia, if she gets a 2-1 combo off an Ares ult, that is a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
But I also am worried about maybe this Humbat's ult screwing her over and going, oh, there's an Ares ult, we'll pop that. And then they go flying in the other direction and she's like, wait, no, they were over here just now. I didn't hit them.
Even without a Discordia, that's a danger of a Hunbat's Ares ult on top of each other.
Oh, for sure.
They do the exact opposite things. They seem like they're really nice to combo together, but maybe not all the time.
I know you always get that, especially with those Janus portals. I've never met anyone as infuriated by anything as your own teammates' Janus portals going, they were there! You just pulled them away from my 2.3 thousand Kukulkan ult. What's going on here?
Exactly.
Don't worry, I got my 400 portal off.
Khepri and Achilles are trying without much avail to stop this shot.
Look at that damage. Khepri does have his ult available, so there shouldn't be too much fear here. But
or not.
Khepri did not realise that Zhong Kui was going to opt for that too.
Yeah, that's a 5-level lead Zhong Kui has on both of those players, though.
Oh yeah.
Holy crap.
Honestly, this support sticking here in solo, I understand he's there to try and keep his solo. Oh, Ares blinking in mid. He grabs this Poseidon, he drops ult just like usual, and exactly what I said would happen. Funbats pops his ult after Ares ult, Discordia 2. That's miles in the distance. It does not connect.
But now they're all
rotating pick up the kill anyway.
Over for this Gold Fury, and they're rotating for Cernunos. Looks like Cernunos is gonna get out, but that leaves the Gold Fury.
Almost interrupted that back.
Yeah,
This
that was
Gold
really,
Fury, if they contest this, they're going to lose a lot of lives. Although red team
especially
are
with
low already, that's
right. But
Zhonghui just seems to
Zhonghui's in the
walk it
area
up.
with full health. There's no
Yes,
there's no contesting here.
there we go. Burn that Gold Fury. Now this is a 6.5 thousand gold lead. It is, it seems insurmountable, but they do have the ability. They have that late game there. Like they have a Cernanos, they have a Poseidon. If this
Hmm.
Poseidon can get a little bit more farm, and if he somehow manages to avoid the Ares, which admittedly will be a very difficult thing to do, then he may be able to do something towards the
Yeah,
mid game,
I
which is
definitely think.
obviously where Poseidon's going to be the most scary.
Yeah, if they can hold on and to just even try to close the gap around the rest of the map, not even the Zhonghui at this point. They've got quite. They definitely have a chance here,
Poseidon's
but
trying to chase Discordia over him, right? But he's getting collapsed on. He loses most of his health. The ult is popped, so he manages to actually pick her up. He's got Kepri ult on him, so he wants to fight. This Zhonghui popped a dot on him, and Poseidon was like, okay, well, I'll just let myself die. This Kepri's going to keep me alive anyway. Quite, quite fortunate for blue team here. They do manage to get that kill for no punishment. Although, obviously, Poseidon beads and Kepri ult were used. So this Ares knows that those are no longer available if he wishes for just an instant kill on Poseidon. There's not a lot he can do now. This Zhonghui is just sitting in blue team's fountain. That's pretty much here. He wants to
he's
have a little
doing
bathe
whatever he wants.
wherever he wants, whatever he wants,
With that kind of a level lead, there's really
and he is opting for
nobody
that
can
hybrid
respond to that.
build. And he never really goes out of position. You see him in these 1v3s, but 1v3s he can take. And look at this poor Achilles. He just got walked at.
Yeah,
There's nothing you can do when they just walk at
just
you.
ran down. I
Very
don't really
unlucky.
I don't know what to say to that because at this point this Zhonghui is just so dominant. Now they're pulling the Pyromancer here. Team BerGerr Is the Support. They're gonna take this relatively uncontested, but Poseidon and
Well,
Capri
blue team
are in
are
the
coming over,
wings.
but Zhonghui is collapsing on them. They do not know that Zhonghui's there.
And
The
Zhonghui's
Poseidon
got his
sees
ult,
him and goes, whoa,
but
goodbye.
Capri manages to pull the ultimate
Really good
Zhonghui
Kepri pull.
away.
Oh, the Humbat's ult brings him back. But don't forget that Kepri ult is not available.
That's a
Oh,
nice
that was
side
a
note there,
really
though.
big Kraken. But red team get Pyro.
And Capri still fell.
Kepri did fall. But honestly, I think this is still a positive for blue team here because they are so far behind that any kill is worth a lot. And that
Yeah.
Pyro was going to go their way regardless. So it doesn't. Oh, Ares blinks in. Does Poseidon have bees available? Nope. Still down. There's nothing you can do here. Slow fire.
But over on the left-hand side,
Cernanos.
Cernunos is still he's doing pretty well.
Yeah, I guess that's solo kill.
That's a nice solo kill onto that Apollo. That's an Apollo. Uh,
Seems like he's
but-
going to go for red as opposed to trying to push out in that tower. Or maybe he's just going to try and help defend tier 2 with his team. Yes, no,
nope.
he knows that people are coming. He sees them and goes, oh, I need to leave. I would have liked to have seen him go for that tower as opposed to trying to contest red because,
Definitely.
again, Zhonghui is there.
Yeah,
You're
you
not-
gotta
you're
take
not
any
doing
lead you
much
can
there.
at this point, and
But don't forget here that this CERN, although we've not seen him much, obviously he just got that solo kill on Apollo, so he is performing well, and he is the same level as Zhonghui.
exactly, he's the next closest thing to Zhonghui and definitely has the potential to shred him. But in terms of Pen, he's not got tons and tons of shred build. I suppose Zhonghui actually doesn't have tons of tank build at the same time though. So if he could get
Yeah,
some
I
hits
mean
into
that
him.
Asai has decent penetration on it. It's one of the higher base
Hunbat's
ones.
going in onto the
Ooh.
CERN. He has to use both his beads and then the Aegis for the Apollo ult. Hunbat's
This
with the root.
Asai Devos keeping him alive just that little bit, but he still falls regardless.
2v1's just a bit
That's
too
the
much.
reason he opted for that double lifesteal, was to try and survive in those situations where he gets ganked. But if you don't do any damage, what's lifesteal going to do for you? Your lifesteal is based on how much damage you're dealing. Or blue team looking to aggressive mid here. But it seems like red team just going to leave. Discordia throws out a ult. Humbats is behind Poseidon. He has no idea what's going on. That was 191 damage Hydras. Or Raven ults over the wall. Bursts down that Humbats. Humbats, he wanted to kill the Poseidon. He got greedy. He had no idea that he was going to get absolutely whacked by that Raven ult.
Apollo's over here split pushing this left-hand tower. We thought Stern was going to take it out from under him, but instead, because Stern fell, Apollo just takes the tower instead.
Bear in mind, this Apollo no longer has ult available as he did ult onto that Cern before. But red
That
team
is
were
correct.
keeping tabs on the rest of blue team, and they knew that
Mhm.
that wasn't going to be an issue that to deal with. Oni Fury has just spawned. Let's see if red team are going to opt to try and take that. It seems like blue team. Well,
Is
Kepri. Kepri's a valiant one.
Capri, the
Let's
Capri
go for this. I want to
steal.
see this Kepri still.
Capri. He's got to get past the wall that is
Go
the
on.
level 18
Rising
Zhongli.
Dawn it.
So,
I mean,
um,
it's not even close, but go for it anyway, you know?
I believe.
Posthumously take the Gold Fury. You
Yes.
can dream, Kepri, you can dream.
Um.
Oh, here comes the Zhong Kui walk. Good luck with that. Gemma Viso's online as well now, so once he pops that one on you, that's 50% slow overall.
There's Zhongli onto this.
Oh my god, look at that
Goodbye,
burst. This Achilles is level 11. He is a level lower than his Kepri.
The
He
Zhongli's
only
just
just
sauntering.
finished his warrior stacks.
Oh boy, Zhongli's
This
just
is so
sauntering
fun.
around the lane. There's nothing really anyone can do here. He just walks in, and people die all around him.
Oh, that Ares chain does not connect. I honestly think just blue team's going to try and disengage here. Look at that damage. That is 60% of that Raven's HP gone. And he has a rune forge. He has health in his build.
Oh boy.
Cern, half health in the Humbats as well, though. Honestly, though, here I think PentaChill just need to be looking to the next game, figuring out how are they going to be able to deal with this Zhonghui.
I
Like,
would agree.
the player I am talking about here as well, not just because he seems to be the type of person who just wishes just to run at you. And if he is allowed to play one of these characters and if he gets fed, that will be very tough. Ares blinks in, ults them. This poor Achilles is caught out of position. Kepri ult is available, so he can save him. The Achilles' ult is popped, so that is no longer available. Zhonghui just wandered into tower a little bit. What does he care? Blue team incredibly poked out. Red team can look for the tower here for sure, but this Ares is no longer... He no longer has any mana, and he forced out his ult and his blink just now for that tower. I don't believe that was particularly worth it, as they didn't get any kills off it.
No.
The Poseidon bees were popped though, so in a way that's a good idea.
Yeah,
But
not the
I
end of
very
the
rarely
world.
see this Humbats going on Poseidon, have you?
Yeah, I would agree. I haven't seen it much other than that one skirmish mid lane, but in that situation, he was actually going on to the Kepri. That was the closest he got to going on to Poseidon, was going on to
Yeah.
Kepri. Yeah, I would agree though that as what you were saying before that whole thing went down, in terms of PentaChill needing to start looking to the next game. The longer this game goes on, the lower player morale is going to drop.
Oh, for sure.
And that can definitely take a toll. This team definitely has a lot of potential to take it back, but they need to deal with how they're going to deal with this Poseidon and this player. Oh, not the Poseidon. I'm looking at Poseidon right now. Zhonghui and the player playing Zhonghui, because at this point I think the Zhonghui is far too ahead to be able to do really much of anything into him.
And at the end of the day, as we were saying, Cerdanos was his issue. Zhonghui just built Nemean.
Nope,
Cern does
not
have
an
double
issue.
life still, but Zhonghui has Nemean. Zhonghui has more DPS than the Cern, regardless of that Nemean. And now it's going to be so hard for him to do anything. Achilles again caught out of position. His Kepri ult was available, but he opted to not use it. Look at how much damage goes onto this Zhonghui. I think this is the lowest he's been this entire game. But the Cernos manages to get away. He wants to re-engage because he's got the Kepri ult on him. But now he's caught out of position and those Ares chains popped. Apollo loses his life back in mid lane though. But this Ares just chases down. Look at this damage. This Poseidon has a Zhonghui one on him. And he's just going to have Ares smack him in the face with his sword. Kepri looking to try and solo the Humbats. The Rising Dawn doing some damage, but the Humbats has too much survivability. Level 17 against level 14.
Yeah, that was a very valiant fight into that Zhonghui though. He did take quite a bit of damage there. At one point he was down below, I'd say even a quarter health.
Yeah.
But just not enough.
Unfortunately, the Poseidon was not there to help out because he was dealing with that Apollo in mid.
So now Team BerGerr Is THE Support's just gonna push down this mid Phoenix. Achilles is here, trying to be scary, but he's been pushed out this whole game. Yeah.
Much too low of a level to have too much of an impact here. But I mean, honestly, here this Zhonghui does not have beads. He has no means of CC immunity.
Mhm.
And with this CC available for blue team here, you have the stun on Achilles, that incredibly long polymorph from Cernanos. You've
Mhm.
got the Poseidon ult stun slash knockup. If all of that is popped on him before he has a chance to use Aegis, they will
Yeah.
probably be able to pick him up because he has built hybrid. He's not full tank.
No,
I
that's for
imagine if
sure.
they pop enough on him, he's going to lose a lot of health. But this fire giant, blue team are looking around at it, but is going to die
Mhm.
before they can get there. Seems like Poseidon still wanted to fight. Ares blinks in. Shell is popped. Poseidon ult is popped, but it's aimed at Ares, not at Zhonghui. This Ares just lived through it. Oh, Cernos ulting for a lot of damage. Achilles ults in. Takes that Discorder ult away from his team. Raven in the backline trying to still focus down that Ares, but the Ares is just going to walk away. Big Kepri route manages to delay them, but the Humbat's ult is popped, and there is no escape. All their CC immunity, all of the survivability has been used up. This Zhonghui just
This
slowed them.
Shankui.
He just
Yeah.
slowed them. Where are they going to go? Nowhere. To hell? Back to their fountain? The route they don't want to go. I
Yeah,
feel like
one
unless
thing.
blue team pull off a miracle here, this might
Mhm.
be GG. Ares is not there, and there is still a tower left in left, so it has
They're a bit of health.
some backdoor
Extra, a little bit
protections,
extra. Um,
but not really because
no.
there we go. Look at that, half health
The
already. Red team just hitting the players. They don't even care. They'll kill the Titan with their AoE damage. Or the Humbats does lose his life to Poseidon, but the miracle was not there to happen. They
no,
just could not get through that team. It was an indomitable presence in that fight.
it's exactly. Their only way they were killing that Zhongki would have been to dump everything into him, and then
Exactly.
they've got four other players there that are just as potent and not as ahead, but definitely still ahead. So
And if he Aegis, Zhong Aegis a bunch of damage on him as well. It was a very, very tough fight there. Very hard fought. I think this Achilles, I think he lost a lot of morale from that early death. And the fact that this Zhonghui managed to just snowball so hard off that. And Achilles has to get so close to the wave to be able to clear. His clear isn't good unless he's at least even or ahead, because he has to put himself in danger just to be able to kill the minions. And Zhonghui is far from that. He had an easy time.
hmm
Definitely here, I'd say that game was a large part to do with that Zhonghui. That was just a monster wandering around that everyone had to run away from.
Yep, he picked up that early lead and he ran away. That's the one thing you need to make sure you're keeping an eye on with John Quees. The minute he starts to get even the side lead, it's very, very difficult to tear him back down. He's just so tanky and does so much damage. It's not fun.
For sure.
Not fun.
Uh,
I hate Shankui
do you want
guys.
to see Zhonghui banned?
I do. I think I do. I always want to see Shankui. I'm being honest here.
Okay,
Shankui
okay.
is not my thing. I play terribly into Shankui, but I think in general here though, with the way PerGerr's playstyle, I think especially compared to Rocket, the Achilles player's playstyle, I think Zhonghui is just too perfect the character for him in these kinds of situations.
It did
So
work very well. When you're going for that drafting, you've always got to consider Zhonghui's not a top tier god, but it
mm-hmm.
was the player playing it made it seem that way. You've always got to decide, do I want to get rid of these characters that are very strong, but maybe are less comfortable for the opposition? Or do I want to take away these picks that they're going to just run it into the ground? And by it, I mean the entire enemy team. You've just got to try and decide. I personally, I don't want to see the Shonkwei banned. I
mm-hmm.
feel like they don't need to. I think most of the issue did come from that snowball. If they shut down a Zhonghui
True.
early, the
True.
Zhonghui's he's not going to be irrelevant, but he might as well be. So it's just I think a lot of that was just the unfortunate start in solo lane losing that both their lives early on,
Yeah,
thinking that they had pressure, but that Ares Zhonghui definitely outpressures a Kepri Achilles.
that's definitely a very good point. I think if they do let Zhonghui through this next game, it's going to be really important that they keep an eye on it
Oh
and
yes, for sure.
don't. And I'm sure they're very aware now at this point, whether they ban it or they don't ban it. Either way, Zhonghui is going to be at the front of their minds.
They might just ban it so that they don't have to deal
Think
with.
about it.
I know I'd get PTSD. If I ran into that, I would say, he's here again. He's here. He's level 1.
Run!
He's here though. Terrifying.
Okay, guys, we're gonna take a quick break and get set up with the next game.
Hello, and
Welcome.
welcome back to the stream. This time, you see the draft, so we know what order people pick, guys. It will be a miracle.
Teams are on the same sides this time as they were previously, so we've got Team PentaChill, they are the order side, and Team BerGerr Is the Support is the chaos side. Got the Ares band coming right on out. I like that.
Yeah.
Ares did a lot last game.
I
Maybe not as much as the Zhonghui, but he did a lot.
I mean, I think for the Poseidon, he did more than the Zhonghui. And I think this Poseidon just did not want to deal. DD did not want to deal with another Ares. So it makes me think that maybe Order side are going to go for one of the comps that have a lot less CC immunity in their kits. It seems like so thus far they have not banned Zhonghui. As I thought they might, they're just going to leave it through. They'll suffer the PTSD if it gets picked up again, and just draft around it a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. The Oloran ban, I like that. I don't like Olorans. Yeah. Oloran slaps, guys.
Oloran
Slaps.
is underrated as all heck.
Yeah.
He is
then
very strong.
Also the Morrigan and Hunbat's bans on PentaChill's side. We didn't see how they originally banned for the first game, but I'm guessing the Morrigan here is probably something that was repeated.
Yeah, Morrigan seems like Morrigan's one of those picks where if your opposition knows how to play it, it's very hard to deal with it. Unless you shut it down early, there's not much you can do, because once that Morrigan gets to late game, she's invisible half the time.
Mm-hmm.
The 5 or 6 second stealth, I never remember. It's ridiculously long, and gives the movement speed stim as well. Mm-hmm. It is an awful thing to try and deal with it. But we're seeing quite target bans here. The Cernos and Raven, they don't want to deal with it. They're not afraid of the more overpowered picks, so to speak. They're just wanting to take away these ones that they've seen being performed well on. Especially that Cernos. That Cernos put in a lot of work, considering how much the teams get dominated. But there's the Isis pick. Oh, we've seen the rise of Isis now, haven't we? That was not something I thought I'd ever say. That was a terrifying thing to say. We've seen the rise of the Egyptian goddess Isis in our games lately. And I mean, that silence. Why does that silence exist? Why
the shield, man.
Is there such a ridiculous health shield on people? Protections and a health shield. The ult gives mitigations. Oh, she doesn't have much mobility, but she'll kill anyone that comes near her. Because you can detonate her too, regardless of CC. It's very hard to fight into that. It'll be interesting to see how she's played. I assume this is going to go to the mid laner here, to the DD. But again,
DDT plays a nice Isis too. That's I think another thing to note. I forgot about DDK's Isis. Do you remember DDK's
Nightmare
Isis?
does. I don't think.
Oh, it was Nightmare. Oh my gosh.
We are prejudiced. We have the misfortune of knowing DD. Anywho,
we've got the Nike pickup and the Thor. Nike and Thor both recently receiving some nice buffs, some nice changes. Nike's scary now, guys.
You don't want to be pushed into tower.
Nike pushing you into tower, but she's just also so tanky, and especially with the new Pridwin item, she plays very, very well with that as well. And Thor hurts.
Oh, the Zhonghui coming out of blue team. Hey, they saw it.
Around.
They wanted it. But now they've got to hope that red team don't pick into those characters that can just shut him down. We see here. I mean, I don't know the last time I've seen an Odin in a game. But this Isis, this Zhonghui, and this Hachiman will be trapped in a cage if that's what they opt for.
Guys,
but they've gone for Jormungandr.
Maybe the better choice.
Unless they're running.
Yes.
They could run.
Okay, guys.
No, you know what?
No.
I've seen a lot of Jormungandr mids.
Odin ADC is what it's gonna be.
I was thinking Odin ADC, but then I thought no one's that psychopathic. I don't believe it. No one wants to play Odin anyway, so we're going to.
You're not wrong.
Going to ignore my Odin guess and say I was completely wrong. And if I see an Odin picked up here, I think I might just leave because I don't think I have the patience
Yes,
to
just
understand
leave.
what is
Let
going
Meg
on.
solo cast the weirdness that is Odin
Well,
ADC.
according to chat, you are the caster that
Ugh,
we all want to
I
hear.
the one and only,
The Supreme.
the Supreme. The Supreme. God, you just called me that. We've got a Kepri ban here. Kepri was putting in work last game. Also, the
That is
Poseidon.
3 bands of characters that they play.
Yeah, 3 very targeted bans there. But I mean, the other team also has 3 targeted bans. Ares, Hunbats, and Poseidon were all in the last game. Sorry, I'm running out of thoughts. As I do.
Did you ever have one to start
Can
with?
you not be rude to me?
Of course I
Also
can't not be
Geb,
rude.
because Geb, and Uller,
Because Geb.
because Geb,
It's a justifiable reason.
because
You
Geb
banned Geb because
shields
Geb.
are not things that you want on a Zhonghui. You don't want Geb shields on Zhonghuis or Isis's because Isis, you save her with the Geb shield and then she just heals herself up with her Isis ult. There's a logic right there. Not just because Geb anymore. I'm grabbing that
Obviously,
Apollo.
Isis being the only character that can be Geb shielded. This is the
Obviously.
passive. He can only shield Isis.
Obviously. Only
Erlang
Egyptian
Shen picked up.
gods.
We saw this 2 games prior while I wasn't
In
actually
the
here,
last
but
set.
I was just sitting in the yeah, it's in the last set. I was just sitting in this stream watching the card, as we all know and are familiar with. A very fascinating card that is, even if it is not lined up as people have complained about. The I've not noticed it. I'm blind. As a reason, I'm
Same.
here casting and
I
I'm
don't know
not
what you're
playing
talking
games.
about.
But no, Erlang Shen performed obscenely well.
Yeah,
He
that's
has
for sure.
been a strong pick for a while, but with this latest patch, and Hi-Rez once again breaking the game by making a ridiculous number of characters ridiculously strong, we've seen a lot less
Woo!
of him in our games. But we've
Gemma
got
Fate
Hercules as
Tree.
well.
Hercules. I
So
like me some Hercules.
I'm gonna guess
But
that's a Hercules support.
yeah, because Hercules into that Yorm is not gonna go so well.
No.
We thought it was Discordia, but it's actually Merlin, guys. I can't believe
Now
Merlin
that's
went through this late.
scary. Yeah.
What the heck?
I mean, I've noticed that they left a lot of
They
the
left it open.
stronger picks
True,
to
but
be able to target ban. But
whew,
the fact that they do let this Merlin in,
I
the
don't
fact
like
that
that.
even Discordia was considered, because Merlin performs well here as well.
Yeah.
Like that instantaneous blink is going to be able to get him to disengage from that Erlang very well. Very strong
It's gonna
pick
give
here,
him a lot of space.
for sure. Who do you think the support's going to be for? Is it
Who do you
BerGerr
think?
Is the Support?
Well,
Oh,
BerGerr's
it's
playing
Nike. There
Nike,
we go. They swapped
so
gods already.
good job, Slimer.
So, but
I'm
the way I
proud of
said that,
you.
I was saying that because I forgot who was playing what roles.
Uh
But
huh.
saying the words BerGerr Is the Support,
Uh huh.
it did help
Really?
jog my memory a little
Yeah.
bit.
Weird. I wonder why. And then you were right about this being a Hercules sport, as we see that the players swap roles and stuff. I don't know if you guys can see that. Are we using the picks and bans thing? I think we are. Oh, PJ says we are. So you
Whoa!
guys
I just
can't
looked on the
actually
screen.
see
That
that
is so
part.
cool.
You guys can actually see that part, but it is a Hercules support and a Zhonghui solo. Uh, so yeah, we're gonna take a hot second to get into this game.
And see
We'll
you on
be
the flip
back.
side.
Hey y'all! We've got
I
PentaChill over.
regret my life.
No, you don't. Shut up. We've
What is
got
that greeting,
PentaChill
Megan?
on the order side again, and BerGerr Is the Support up 1-0 on the Chaos side. Don't knock my intro. It was
I mean,
great. I don't know
your
what
intro
you're
is still
talking
not
about.
finished. It
Well,
somehow is still being eked out.
welcome to this game of
It, as I
gloriousness.
said, still being
Shut
eked
up!
out.
No one likes you.
Thank you, Meg. We
Chat
all love
said
you
it.
too.
No one likes you.
Chat never said that. They just
Donkey
showed
did.
preference.
That's the same thing. Um. Okay. What's happening here? We've got people in the solo side. Hercules is all the way like up here. doing stuff. I'm not
You,
sure
are
what
you
Hercules is doing.
currently moving a cursor when you are not the camera person?
Oh, I'm not. Hey, PJ, go look at the
Do I
Hercules
need
who's
to?
over here invading the stuff.
Do you want to stop speaking, Meg? Because I think this is this is not
Okay, I'll
this
stop
is not
talking.
going to go too well. So this
Probably.
is the Hercules support going for the early steal attempt here, and he is actually going to get that. And he, instead of picking it up, he's going to just walk away. Oh, he blinks out as well. That was a big waste, if I'm perfectly honest. That Thor had no kill opportunity, but he does get back to mid. He might actually be able to. Oh, that's a lot of damage on Merlin. He is out of position. This ice is using another auto. Oh, Merlin blinked away, but he
That was
blinked
almost a really
towards
awesome.
the
That was
minions and
almost
the
really
enemies.
awesome. Okay,
And now
minus
the
the
Thor is
minions.
out of position. He has no hammer available. Hercules driving strike smacks him. Isis 1 is coming up in a second, but she doesn't care. She's just going to walk away, apparently. They try and die. Oh, that pin did just enough damage. That Thor
Erlong
maybe
just
had
hit level
2
2 and
less
unlocked that
HP
pin.
than that damage.
Yeah,
But
that was
that is 2 early kills over here for Red Team.
yeah,
It
that was
seems
very
like
interesting. It looked like the other team sport, the Nike was over in the solo side, and they managed to steal away the blue buff from the Zhonghui, but the kills they picked up in the mid lane were worth it. Over, and now
the
Merlin
Merlin's dead again. What
takes
relic
a
does he
spirit
have
ball to the
again, Meg?
face, and he
Can
goes.
you let me know what relic this Merlin has? Blink.
He's got a blink.
Against a Hercules, Erlang Shen, Isis.
Yeah, I want beads in that situation. I don't know about you.
I want anything that isn't Blink.
Yeah, I would take an Aegis
last
even.
game,
But
Red Team, BerGerr Is THE Support, dominated last game. Absolutely dominated. And I think they let you get to the head a little bit. And this mid laner is like, I can do whatever I want. We'll win anyway. I'm Merlin. Oh, another big driving strike. These driving strikes are on point. The Nike jumps short. And Isis manages to pick her off with those wind gusts. This
now
Hercules
Isis...
support is putting in so much work. He has single-handedly gotten his team 4 kills now with these driving strikes.
And he's lining things up really nicely for these Isis to rip spirit balls.
Look at that damage.
And
imagine if he had beads.
Imagine.
He might have actually been able to get away.
At least a couple of the times.
I
don't think the beads are enough to save him 3
clear.
times so far. Yeah, the blink just really wasn't the call here. I think
Don't worry,
blink
though,
early on Merlin
back up
is...
again.
It's back up again. Cyber, we're not supposed to abuse people. The blink was not the call.
Erlang's invading red here by himself. It seems like red team might be able to collapse. He's very low on HP. He might lose his life.
He's also
he
very low
out.
on mana.
Zoom, zoom. The Thor elected not to rotate. Instead, he wanted the farm. He is quite low level, but honestly surprised me he did not try and rotate onto this Thor here. This time, solo lane. It's nice and boring.
Nice
Because
and
these are
boring.
2 characters that don't die. Neither of
They
these
don't.
characters die.
Yeah.
And
They
so,
just walk at each other. These are both very walk at each other and kill things characters, but when both of them are so tanky, no, nothing. Just
like
fat.
this
Everything's
Yulm can
fat.
do a lot of damage, but so Zhonghui can just heal it back up again. But Yulm is 2 levels on him. This Zhonghui keeps getting zoned away from waves. He gets a little bit behind. The fact that the enemy support started in solo lane, we were talking about not wanting BerGerr to get too fed, and he is actually level 5 already. He's getting a decent amount of
Hercules
farm.
diving tower onto this Merlin.
He is.
He falls to the tower. Merlin wasn't able to get a hit in on him. Merlin lives, but
Merlin used his blink in that engagement. I don't know what happened, but he used his blink and he lived.
Nike's in a tough spot against this Isis, and Isis ult connects on the Nike and just barely dodges that Merlin. Whew.
That Isis just autoed the Nike to death. We've got an ADC Isis here.
Y'all, cleave autos. Cleave autos.
I think this Erlang is enjoying living in the enemy jungle right here.
He's just partying. He's looking for
3
the
people
speed buff
rotating on
steal,
him right now.
and it's all his.
No!
He
Has
takes
this
it.
not got a speed buff yet?
He gets blocked. The mink farm gets
Oh,
blocked out.
the Erlang minks, but he
gonna
smacked
escape.
straight into someone's face. And now, spin to win. He's been murdered.
And that, my friends, is why we use the turtle form.
Well,
I'm not sure that turtle would have gotten him out there either.
situationally. I mean, the turtle might have, but as we know, it is very slow.
True. You're
But
not wrong.
he has speed buff on him.
Yeah,
Thor
speed
certainly
buff.
didn't. Much, I'm sure, as he loads for that to be the case, he did not have any buff on him. But if we look at the gold here, PentaChill are only ahead by just under 1,000 gold here, which was, compared to last game, not as big of a lead as Red Team. Look at that Spirit Ball in mid!
Right into that Merlin.
That Merlin just lost half his HP from a Spirit
Out,
Ball.
and Nike uses her ult.
Hercules ult connects with the wall. Oh, that stun screws her. The Merlin's back.
Merlin is still
He
here.
didn't blink in. If he blinked in, maybe he would have gotten that kill.
Stop.
Oh, that ice assault just falls short of doing enough damage. That is very unfortunate.
That was very close there, but they do take that tier 1 tower. That's our first tower of this game. And PentaChill's sitting in a very nice lead here. Isis has a 5 kill streak already.
Lang seems to be rotating onto this Apollo here. Bonsai again opting for this Apollo pick. It is excruciatingly safe because that Mesmerize. You just pop a Mez, you dash away, and if you really have to, you can.
Over on the right hand side, everyone's collapsing on this Jormungandr. The Jorm.
He has his ult available, so I doubt he's going to fall here. That is a lot of damage, and he refuses to click.
Yorm doesn't have his ult.
He doesn't have his ult. Oh, you're right. I assumed he would. Why would he?
I don't know when he used it, but he did. Okay. Yorm dies because Yorm doesn't have his ult up, and everyone collapsed on him.
That is not something he can deal with.
Now, BerGerr Is THE Support is looking to take this Gold Fury, but Merlin is tanking it and dying to it.
Well,
okay. Erloshen's here, zones off Apollo and Nike up that Gold Fury for good.
I appreciate that because no one would have expected. I didn't expect it until I saw a Merlin die to Gold Fury.
Didn't expect.
Blue team certainly had no idea, so that could have actually gone very well. 3 people on that, and they were quite high health to start with.
If only they had done a better job of juggling it.
Yes, I mean, at the end of the day, they changed Gold Fury, so it's that much harder to juggle now because it just moves so quickly.
That's
it's
very,
hard
very
to get
true.
away from it, and a lot of people aren't used to this new Gold Fury. It's a lot harder.
But you know, Apollo could have been tanking it. He was full health. Just saying, Apollo, I'm calling you out. And we've got a surrender vote coming up. I don't know for which team. I don't know how the.
I think that was a mistake.
Probably. It looks like it disappeared very quickly.
You aren't allowed to surrender before 10 minutes? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Very true. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I'm fairly sure in SPL that's the way it is.
It is, but I don't quote me on the rules. I check the handbook.
Is going to give you nightmares for the spectator client?
Yes, he's very large. Over in the mid lane, Isis slapping on this Merlin here. Merlin looks like he might get out here though, but Nike comes in to try and save.
The auto was about to connect, but she still loses her life. That Merlin would have died, but he blinked the Isis auto.
Blink, y'all. Blink Merlin.
The relic that we needed.
Nike does manage to take out Isis though. Isis took a tower shot there, and the the explosion from her 2 hurts. Just a smidge. Over on the right hand side, Jormungandr is trying to ult onto the Zhong Kui. Doesn't look like he connected quite enough of them, and Zhong Kui manages to back.
He is completely out of mana now, but no one's really rotating on him, so he should be fine. Did he proxy the wave a little bit? Yes, he did.
Maybe a little, yeah. Just a little.
Zhong Kui does have his TP available, so his tower shouldn't lose too much health. There we go. Just half health.
Just half.
Half as much again than what mid's tier 1 tower has. So fair enough.
That's correct.
Look at that spirit
big
ball.
Isis spirit ball into the Nike.
What is this damage? Very, very painful. Does Nike not have a jump available? That's her shell pop.
I think Nike jumped in.
He's being chased down. Oh, that was a mistake.
Big hurt boulder hits.
Look at that
onto the Nike,
boulder.
but Nike manages to walk away from it. It looks like they're still engaging though. PentaChill trying to chase down this Nike or this Thor, really take anything that they can find here. Isis tries with the spirit ball over the wall, but is not close enough.
Let's take a moment to appreciate this Hercules build.
What is this Hercules build?
You ain't getting away from it.
You're not running. No, that's.
No.
He's very.
If he wants to get to you,
He's
he
coming.
will get to you.
He's coming for you,
Oh
man.
lord, he coming. Look at that
Big Ice
spirit ball.
Spirit Ball
Goodbye
onto
your
the-
entire health bar.
Onto
And
the
beans
Thor
is
and
popped, but it's nothing. This
the
Isis.
Ice Assault is just too much. The Isis is really playing very well.
Oh, spirit ball does not connect.
She tries to wing gust away and get a little bit of lifesteal out.
That low health for Bancrofts, and then shielding as well with the Isis 3. Likely he's a little bit out of position, but he's going to get out. He clicks 3. He goes faster than a lightning bolt.
Zoom, 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 zoom,
Jormungandr
zoom.
is
But
here,
Yorm is
but
here.
he can't catch up to that Hercules.
Yorm
Much
could
too
have
speedy.
potentially ulted for that, but that would have been more risky than it's worth. Isis is still sticking around even at this lowered health. Trying to do some damage from a distance here. Merlin's got a lot of damage, but there's pushing Hercules away from his low health Isis.
Oh,
Big
that
Spirit Ball
spirit
into the
ball.
Merlin,
Goodbye,
just
Merlin
barely
health.
kills the Merlin. Just barely lets the Merlin live.
Sorry, did that Hercules just ult?
I did not. Yes, apparently. I didn't see it. Thor's up in the air over on the left side. He's in on the Hachiman. Hachiman has to use his speeds, and he
Oh, that
has
was
his
a
ult
nice
available to
double
run
tap.
away. Trying to turn
Apollo
around his
ult
heart.
trying to chase? Is he going to? He's 3 levels down.
It
He's
looks like
just
it not. He's just
in
gonna
and
fall.
out.
Thor didn't stick around to try and help his Apollo who's ulting in. And
Oh,
Thor
tries
also
to hammer
falls
out, but he gets
to the
hammered.
Erlong. Hammered. Um,
That's what I am.
stop.
We call it a coping
Yeah,
mechanism.
that Thor ult was definitely the right idea there into the.
They look
but
like
if
Gold
Apollo
Furies
was
being
gonna-
invented as well.
If Apollo was gonna choose to go in and try to secure that kill, he needed to land the ult on top of the Hachiman, and Thor needed to be there to provide some level of support. We tried to pull the Gold Fury here, but with Nike around, we're not looking to do that kind of risky business. On the other
No
side of the
one
map,
there could really secure
yeah.
one side or the other. It just would have been risky.
On the other side of the map, we're kind of converging around this Pyromancer. Maybe not everybody's walking away from it. I lied. They were looking at it.
They're converging on the totem. We all know
Yes,
it's the most valuable
Totem
thing in
of
our game.
Coup. My
We should just call it
favorite
the Totem of Doom.
Coup.
Is that what it's called?
It's
Oh,
called the
Coup.
Totem of Coup.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, mid lane getting
Somebody-
collapsed on. Can he blink away on time? Well, he's just died clearance, so I'm going to guess not. Oh,
A nice
Thor,
Nike
yep.
shell keeping it alive, but the Thor is on the
His
air. Thor
blink's
does not go
available.
down on
Oh, the taunt gets in, the
Merlin.
massive Thor ult. 1 HP Merlin, but he's still just about alive. This Nike's he's seeing to keep him away. Will this Merlin get away? Jormungandr's here to peel as well. Erlang beats the tremble from the Jormungandr, and now he's very low, no ults available. Hercules, he's gone. He clicked 3. Oh, Erlang does lose his life. That Jormungandr and Nike together, just way too much for him to deal with. And now DDK has to try and deal with this. Oh, Apollo ult connects onto this Isis. So
The
low,
Isis-
Bancroft just keeps her alive. Nike does not understand. Oh, through the wall. That was a very, very nice rend. And now, that's it. Auto mini Hachi. Go on, do it. Oh, Jean-Kui is here now,
is
though.
here, and he
And that is a very low Nike. Well, I don't think she has any way of getting away, especially with that Talaria boots. Yep, there we go.
Talaria Boots
He
Shield of
catches up.
Regrowth Herc is too speedy.
Merlin
Now Team
looking
PentaChill
for
is
still
gonna look at
gold?
this Gold Fury. Merlin's trying
I
to.
don't think he knows Hercules is there.
I don't think so either. But he.
3's away, but Hercules is waiting for him.
But
Look at that
Jormungandr's also
damage.
here to try and keep his mid laner alive. Jormungandr trying to go in on
Merlin
this.
blink in. And when I say blink, I mean blink. Hercules, oh, he gets interrupted by that Apollo. That Apollo saves the Merlin's life. Thor ult is being used here. He probably won't opt to go in. There we go. He ulted to dissuade the enemy from attacking and kill them if they overextended, but everyone disengaged, so he knew he had to disengage too.
A wise choice, that's for sure.
What's this HP of this tower over left? Is there a way of seeing HP of towers?
If you go up close to it, you can. I'm pretty sure.
I
It
can't.
does. Oh no,
mean, I can
I
see
can't.
it.
That's lame. It's got like nothing. Somebody go sneeze on that tower. Hachiman's on it. I mean, Apollo's here too.
I don't think he is. I don't
Hachiman's
think he's going to take
gonna
that
try.
risk.
I think he's gonna try.
I think he's about to back off as soon as he cleared. There we go.
Well, okay.
Let's
That's the
be a little more
intelligent
sensible
thing.
here.
That's the intelligent thing to do, but that is not the Meg thing to do. The Meg thing to do is to psychotically die over
Those
things
very
that aren't
rarely
important.
coincide with each other.
Thanks. You're so kind to me.
Oh, tell me I'm wrong. But once again, last game,
Okay.
Zhonghui over double the next most damage, and now this game, Isis, the new busted character. Zhonghui actually bottom damage in the game. Quite
Zhonghui just
interesting.
hasn't been able to affect team fights as much this game. He's been kind
Jormungandr's
of
got a lot more
struggling against the
mobility.
Jormungandr. So Jormungandr has that global ultimate as well. Over on the mid-hand side. Um,
That's Hercules' ult. He really dislikes walls.
I don't like
I
walls
must
either.
tell you
To be
that
fair, Nike
walls are
also
his natural
ulted.
enemy.
Nike also ulted in that engagement.
She did. She
Yeah.
ulted to try and pick off the Isis.
But
Look
now
at
it
that
looks
though.
like the
The
tables are
400
turning.
damage Spirit Ball on a tank. All bees are full, so there's a really nice ball. He managed to interrupt the Isis's wing gust. Very nice job. Hercules being chased down. The Nike just wants this Hercules dead. Spirit Ball does not connect, but that is a lot of damage on that Thor.
Jormungandr also in and is going in onto this Hercules. Hits
very fast.
all 3 hits onto this Hercules. That's a
534
lot of
Spirit Ball.
damage there. Big damage onto this Isis, but the Isis ult keeps her alive.
That was
Just
a nice
barely,
Isis
but
ult.
Yorm is still able to kill her. He's got Aegis to try and keep her alive, but it is not enough. Thor ults down, but does not connect with anybody and just leaves.
Hachiman is out of position
Hachiman trying
here.
to ult in here.
It looks like he's trying to kill the Merlin. No, he sees his HP and realizes he needs to disengage. Oh, Erlang he pinned down that Merlin and Merlin died.
A very nice
Zhonghui is
Zhonghui ult
looking
here.
very low. Nike's rotating in very low. Oh, he loses his life. That Apollo, only 200 HP, but he manages to get out. This Nike has nothing available, and this Erlang is just going to chase her down, and there is nothing she can do about it. The mink finish.
The
Nice
mink
and
finish.
pretty.
Nice
Who's a
and
cute little deadly mink?
that's so weird. Stop. You're being weird.
You would never be weird, would you, Meg?
Never!
Entirely sane. Talk about puppies some more.
Oh my god, but like, okay, so I hate the dog in the default Erlang skin though. It's kind of hideous.
I said it sarcastically, but there is always a dog for her to talk about,
There is
regardless of the
always
situation.
a dog. And if there isn't a dog, I'll talk about Hachiman's horse. So there's that.
It is an animal.
Or Jormungandr, and he's a snake, which is cool.
I like to pretend he's a dragon. It's a lot cooler.
Sure. Serpent, snake, dragon, whatever. He's
A Chinese dragon. They're basically
Chinese.
serpents.
You're not wrong.
Serpents
What's happening in this game? I don't know what's going on.
What's happening is Isis hurts when she
smacking.
hits.
You gotta land those spirit balls, my dude. You gotta land them.
She was displaced, to be fair to the Isis.
Well,
driving
why
straight
would
to
you be
displace.
fair to
DDK.
Why would we do that?
I've never been fair to him.
What compelling reason do we have to do that? Sorry, DD. I love you.
You see, he said he liked you better than me.
I do like you.
This.
Now we're collapsing in on this
Jormungandr.
Jormungandr has his ult available though, and
here it goes.
Noodle on out. Goodbye.
Noodle on out. DDK is out of position.
And takes a hit from that Jormungandr ult.
Are on their way, but he's just going to shield. He doesn't care.
Oh.
Hercules blinks in. They really want this Jormungandr dead. His Aegis is no longer available. The Hercules ult hit something that wasn't a wall.
Yay!
Look at that go. It did hit the wall as well, but there we go. You have to hit walls. If you're not hitting a wall, you're not
big size of spirit ball
Look
into the
at
Merlin.
that damage every time.
And Merlin's just forced out time and time again. He's just
get to that Nike. She'll push you away. So I'm not to deal with it. Oh, that Apollo just chunked Zhonghui so hard. Unlike last game, this Zhonghui has no boots.
What?
He doesn't go anywhere very quickly.
I'm confused.
Out and murdered.
Okay, Hachiman's forced to ult away.
The globals are coming.
Hachiman uses his Aegis a little bit too early there, not able to immune the hits.
The Isis ult just destroys Merlin. That Bancroft's with that Isis ult. She was low just now. You might not believe it, but she was low. Oh, he hit the wall.
And it worked. He
The
hit the
wall
wall
god.
with perfect stop.
It looked kindly upon us this day.
You guys can't hear it, but our cameraman keeps laughing at us. And it's
Not with
honestly
us.
so rude.
No. We are the ones being rude.
Team PentaChill
This
is pulling the Cold Fury. Isis does a lot of damage, and so does Erlang Shen. Goodbye, Gold Fury. Actually, that was the actual Gold Fury.
Yeah, that was the first Gold Fury of the
Goodbye.
game. Was it the first Gold Fury?
I don't know.
It's been attempted a few times, but I think that was the first successful
It
go at it.
says that it was, according to the statistic thingy, that was the first Gold Fury of the game.
Wait, what? That's a thing?
Yeah, you click the little checkboxy at the bottom. Um, Team BerGerr Is the Support is pulling this Pyromancer here. Erlang Shen attempts to steal it with the pin, but a little bit too early. Not gonna work there. Now we're all kind of
Zhong Kui is
tossing around
out
this
of
fire giant,
position.
looking
He's
at
just
this Zhong
wandering.
Kui.
Getting hit by that Jormungandr 1. He's got the Gem of
Oof.
Ice online now.
That's
When you get hit by that 1 and that gem, it is very painful for him to do anything. Especially if Zhong Kui currently has first tier boots, and that is it.
mm-hmm.
The
You
Jormungandr snake is coming. And
Zhong
the
Kui is
pain is
trying.
being dished out. And he's
Merlin
dead.
picks up the kill there.
It's a good idea. This oh, the Merlin's piecing with that blink.
Erlang Shen going in onto this Jormungandr, but he's not
Up
got
here
enough
in mid
damage.
though, they're trying to deal with this fight. This Nike has been dealt very low HP. The Wall God, this time, was not being very nice.
Never.
I am sorry to say. Also, Isis, that was a bit of a bug. Isis dealt damage to camps that weren't actually leashed to anything with that spirit ball over the wall.
Yeah. Well, wait.
No, no one was hitting at
No.
the time. Nike was
I thought
backing.
Nike. Yeah. I thought Nike might have missed.
I'm fairly sure the
but no.
spirit ball made the camps aggro to the Nike, who then had to stop her back to do it.
Yeah, that was a little odd. Go Smite. Very,
Go Smite. Well
very
made
quality.
game.
Much good.
Much good, the
Over on
best.
the right hand side, Erlang Shen's poking at this Jormungandr, doing a
He's got the
pretty
hasten
successful
effect, but there comes the ult.
and Jorm's just gone.
My man's getting knocked up.
No more.
Just like he was
Over in the middle lane, harassing into onto this Merlin.
Oh, he
Ooh.
catches the hammer, but there's no one to follow up. At Thor, he had his beads available. I'm very, honestly, very surprised he did not opt to use it after he got his hammer interrupted like that.
Going in
next,
onto this
but he is
Erlang here.
very low. He pops
uses
his
his
ult,
ult
he
though,
gets
so he gets
notifications,
healed.
and he pieces. Now Apollo's out of position. Aegis has forced that massive driving strike. Isis ult does not connect on anyone but the Nike. Quite unfortunate. The Apollo Mez that lasts for
Just
an
barely
Eon
gets out
connects.
there.
Can he ult out in time? He can.
And
The Jormungandr
goes.
delays them. However, they do manage to pick up the Nike. The Merlin is
They'll take
very
the Merlin
low right
as well.
now.
Ooh, missing on the spirit.
Oh, the spirit ball was so close. But there's no way of him getting out now. No blink's gonna save you now.
Stop. Now we're collapsing
a lot
in
of
the
damage now. Oh, big
Thor
Thor
ult.
ult.
Nice onto
But
that.
there comes the
Shield of regrowth.
Shield of regrowth,
Needy.
that's the one.
Movie. Run away.
The zoom away.
Zoom.
Oh, that Zhong Kui almost loses life there, but Thor wants to come back to assist his
Hercules
Jormungandr.
coming back around here to kill this Jormungandr.
Isis was low, but not for long.
Not so much anymore.
Oh, big
but-
Mez, big wave. There we go.
Low enough for
Support
Apollo to kill him.
coming in, killing people.
Go Apollo. But he wasn't able to stick around long enough to pick up the kill onto that Hercules. Hachiman was full health there. Just Apollo did not have enough to deal with that.
No, he'd
It's an
already
Apollo.
had his beads forced out earlier.
And he already
And
ulted
his
as well.
Aegis. Yes.
No.
But honestly,
chance there.
very much worth it to be able to get that kill on that Isis.
Definitely. That Isis has been causing
She
some really big
is.
problems this game, and she needs to die.
For sure. I mean, she has died 4 times now, but
She needs to
she's
die
being
more.
played very, what's the opposite of cautious? That's right, recklessly. And as such, she has lost her life a few times more than perhaps she should have done. But equally, she's been able to get a lot of damage off. Interesting to see her pick up this Spear of Magus here. She is intending to be hitting a character with more than one combo. I don't know who she thinks is going to live through a combo, but if they live through it, they won't with the Magus on them, that's for sure. I feel like this Nike gets half health by a max range Spirit Ball right now. So very strong. And what do you think she's picking up this staff of Meridian? That was my attempt.
Mirrodin.
I don't like that.
And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think the Staff of Mirrodin on top of the Ice Assault, you can Spirit Ball them, Ice Assault, Spirit Ball them again.
I
it's
thoroughly
madness.
enjoy doing that when I've ever played Isis. But it's also, Pridwin is not a bad idea.
Pridwin
The ult gives mitigations, and then when the ult's over, you get a little health shield to go with it.
Pridwin's just so good. Guys, Pridwin.
It is a very strong
If you're not building Pridwin, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
The youth of Hercules is just zooming.
He's so fast.
They've
So
people had
fast,
to
he's-
run. Apollo's split pushing left tail though. He's definitely going to be able to get that unopposed because the entire team is looking towards Fire Giant. They know he's there. So it looks like they're just going to look for Pyro maybe? Or maybe go for a kill on the Jormungandr?
Collapsing onto this Yorm, but
he
Yorm's
can
still got his
escape.
ult. I'm interested to see this Hercules picking up this late game Gauntlet of Thebes.
Yes. I mean,
Stacking it is not easy.
the amount they've been killing people, PentaChill managed to secure that. Merlin almost did a good job of sealing that. Apollo's still pushing left lane here. He's got a full wave just coming. Blue team are just letting him go. If they don't go for Fire Giant here, this isn't worth it. Again, they're hitting a tank. This one's got a massive health shield. What are they intending for here? They lose their tier 2 over and left, and they're still just eking out this fight. The Zhongkui's got boots now, so when he got hit, he actually walked away from it. A very convenient thing.
Always good. Definitely what we need
They're
to see here.
rushing mid, but their jungler backed. All beads is popped on Merlin here. A load of damage out of this Isis. Big boulder. Smacks through them all. But wait a second. Nike, she doesn't lose health. She gets it all back again. Oh, Thor manages to pick up that kill. That Merlin
That Isis
burn
damage.
did so much damage. But, as we know, Isis stings.
Apollo picks up the Fury. I believe that was the Primal Fury.
Yes. We'll say yes.
I'm pretty sure it was. And now he's just gonna ult right on out.
He sees
or
someone.
maybe.
He's like, well, it's time for me
maybe?
to leave.
Okay.
I think
He's
a little
gone.
low on mana. Oh no, he's not.
That's-
He's completely 4 mana.
But he did not want to fight into that. That Isis hurts. The Hachiman hurts. We haven't been keeping as close an eye on the Hachiman this game, but he's 6-1 also. He's definitely nice and ahead and does quite a bit.
Level 20 as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that over line as well, so his team fight damage is going to be disgusting. If you just shoot and boom, everyone's getting hit for all of their HP.
Oboe
Everyone
is...
loves Oboe.
Yeah, sure. Everybody's just kind of grouping up here. Probably going to start looking for the Fire Giant sometime in here. PentaChill definitely has the potential to take it with the damage from the Isis and the Hachiman, but it's going to come down to whether or not Hercules and Zhongkui are successful zoning off things like the Merlin and the Thor from their damage dealers.
I mean, the situation here is the Jormungandr and Nike.
True.
These two people are not going to die because Jormungandr has his ult, goes halfway across the map. Adios, Monsieur. The Nike has her ult, has 60% health shield. And now she's got Pridwin as well. It's more like a 65-70% health shield. It is insufferably impossible to try and take her out. But I think they're constantly trying to. She's only level 17, but she has so much health in that build. It is a miserable thing to try and kill her, I believe. Seems like blue team are just eking out their lives. They don't really want to go for Fire Giant because they are afraid that they're going to get picked off. But there's nothing else for them to do. They're wandering around like lost puppies.
Yeah, definitely lost puppies. They look like they're gonna try for this left-hand tier 2. The minions are pretty pushed up here.
Seems Isis pushing mid. Oh, that Merlin's HP.
Isis
Everyone
and
likes
Zhong
an
are gonna
Isis
stick
hitting
around
them.
and be scary. Here come around the corner. Here's the Thor. Isis is looking to pick him off, but cannot connect the Spirit Ball or the Silence.
Big mood.
Big mood.
Seems-
Now they're
Two
leaning
people pushing right lane here, so they can just go for this Phoenix. They'll lose their tier 2 over right. Oh, that is a lot of damage off from that Thor. But there we go, Ice Salt popped. Everyone just have a little stand on here, everything will be fine. Curse Dank popped just before Ice Salt detonates. That really, really hurt them. but left Phoenix is very low on HP. Erlang leaves. Isis manages to pick off this Merlin. Take a lot of damage. Thor just walks up and now he's ulting. This Zhonghui very low. This Isis very low. She beads to get ready from that knockup. But the Thor walk interrupts her wing gust again. She gets the Spirit Ball off, but she's dead before it even matters. Zhonghui pops his ult, but he's 1 HP already. And now it's just Erlang and Hercules left to fight. They did end up picking up that Phoenix. That Erlang managed to backdoor it. The Hatchman's electing to back. And now this Hercules tries to get away, but that movement speed isn't going to stop that burst.
Yeah, that ended up being a bit too much, but they did manage to take away that Phoenix. I actually didn't notice that until you pointed it out. So while
it was quite chaotic.
Yeah, it was quite chaotic. The loss of life is definitely unfortunate for Team PentaChill, but they had a nice lead going into that, and now with the they didn't lose too much because everyone died. And
they didn't actually have fire drone on them either at the time.
Right, exactly.
Which would have been a big thing to lose.
They still got
now
the
we'll
Phoenix.
see if maybe they'll look for that. Oh, Hachiman and Paul have a little box there, but they're just going to disengage. Jormungandr just showing Erlang who the real boss is. Try and kill the snake, he'll kill you. But speaking about this Phoenix here, it's going to be crucial for Red Team to ensure that the minions don't get to the Phoenix. And it is the furthest from Fire Giant buff. This is why whenever you go for Phoenixes, you usually elect to take the one on Duralane's side. So it takes people longer to get between Fire Giant and there, so you can go for it a lot more freely. But it seems like Red Team are just rushing down the Pyromancer. That will help them move between them faster if they just stop by the fountain real quick on the way.
Certainly, but if they get pushed out, it could definitely come in handy here. Blue team is just kind of looking around here, trying to regroup around this Fire Giant since Red team just took the Pyromancer. They took it and they left, so it is relatively open right now. But ward coverage
don't forget that
isn't great around the Fire Giant. Yeah, exactly.
They'll be coming quickly.
They are on their way.
They're not going to take long, and as you can see, they're all already here. I'm just really hoping that one of these people don't back, because this entire game has literally just been someone on blue team backing, red team going, oh, someone left.
There goes Isis. She's leaving.
There they go. Adios. We didn't. But she did get a full obsidian shard, which is going to be quite crucial here. That amount of pen that she's got online right now is going to be very, very tough to deal with.
Blue team's also moving away from the Fire Giant pit, where most of red team is centered. So
red team currently have pressure on Fire Giant. Hachiman now is the one to back. Nope, Zhonghui. There we go. And Erlang goes to fight. I am genuinely eager to see all 5 of blue team stay in a fight.
Here with Isis
and here Isis gets focused out. Oh, so much damage. That shard plus Spirit Magus does so much damage, but he lives on 1 HP. He's coming back in to mess with her. She gets knocked up. She can't deal with the Merlin burning her. This Jormungandr, all he does, goes away, 1 HP, but he's completely fine. Zhonghui, he's still sitting there in Fountain. He's having a whale of a time staring at it. Oh, no, he's coming now. He's on his way. We do see that Titan in left, as we said though. They have to defend from those minions, because that is 30% of that Titan's HP gone. And what do they get off it? 1 kill. 1 kill, and the Pyro, I guess, as well.
Pyro! But yeah, we're all just looking for this Fire Giant fight, and blue team really does need to, as you're saying, they need to all be in the fight.
They need to stop leaving.
Backing for items is definitely important, but when everyone's at such a critical time here trying to look for this, it's an enhanced Fire Giant at this point. You got to be there for it.
For sure.
Because BerGerr Is the Support, while despite being at the disadvantage here, definitely has the potential to sweep in and take it. Jormungandr's over on the left-hand side, pushing those fire minions back to and their
Phoenix has spawned again. There's only 1 more fire wave, and then they are aware that there's 1 more fire wave. But that's the Phoenix is back up again, and because they didn't wipe, but because they lost their most important player, that Isis, in that fight where she was out of position and they did not have enough walls. Because if you look around Fire Giant here, look at all these red walls. Oh my god, look at that Isis damage on the Thor. Well, when she actually hits her stuff, it does so much damage.
It really, really does. She does have that Staff Mirrodin, and coupled with the Bancroft's Talon, that's a lot of power.
Lots of power.
Lots and lots of power.
Zhongkui's very
oh,
much poked out here. Nike jumps in. Zhongkui walks forward. He actually gets away from the Jormungandr. The Jormungandr's trying to terrorize the backline, whilst Hercules is just running at Merlin. And there's nothing he can do about it because his team is focused on the enemies. It seems like Hercules and Merlin just going to run around each other for a while.
But
Whilst the rest
Merlin
of them
blinks.
terrorize the rest. Oh, Zhongkui's HP. Don't worry, look at Nike. She's only got 200 health. She should be dead, right? Oh no, health shield. That's right. And another one because Pridwin. Oh, but she's still there. Low health. Merlin has been made so low. Thor is so low. Nike is so low. Erlang gets around in the back line, manages to pick up Nike. Maybe. No. Nike jumps over the wall. Apollo dashes in and gets
there goes
bursted.
Apollo. But that was a lot of very, very low health people walking away.
It was
Merlin
Thor
did end
and
up.
Nike.
Yeah,
Neither of
Merlin,
them should have lived through that, but they both
yeah.
managed it.
Yeah, they
It seems
picked
like
up
they're
the
just going to
Merlin,
rush
but
down
the
this
other
left
team
Phoenix.
and there's still a couple of firemen here over on the left-hand side, so they're going to be able to push this down relatively quickly. There's the fireman. There goes
They
the Phoenix.
might.
And
They got the kill. The Yeoman's not up for 20 seconds. There's only one tower, backdoor protections. They're bursting out the Nike. Ice Assault popped on that Titan. As soon as that Titan hits them, that Titan's sealing its own fate. Look at all that damage. But don't forget about Nike 2's passive. This Hatchman is not being allowed to hit. But it doesn't matter. That was 5 people, including an Isis, hitting the Titan with very few backdoor protections. It was not a lot that they could do. And after this game, when we look at the player damage, we will see that Isis has almost double the next most in the game. About
ISIS.
1.8 times as much player damage. It is ludicrous
Jesus.
just how much that character is relevant. And I am very much hoping that we see a ban of Isis coming out so that we don't see it picked up, because we've just seen how DD is a good player, but not that good.
I wholeheartedly
character
agree.
is insane.
The ISIS was definitely very, very, very strong there. And from the get-go, I mean, Hercules was definitely the one setting up those kills, but the ISIS damage and those spirit balls were what were confirming them time after time. Yeah, big spirit balls, guys. And then also not to be overlooked, the Hachiman and the Erlong Shen put in work that game as well. Maybe not as much in terms of damage compared to the ISIS, but they were definitely staying caught up and being contributing a lot to those fights.
Yes, I agree.
In other news, Merlin, please don't build Blink
Don't
first,
worry.
Merlin.
Blink away.
Just please don't build Blink first, Merlin. I think double Blink on Merlin's great fun, but
oh yeah, it's fun. Maybe not in a game like this.
Beads.
Maybe leave that for your
Beads is the call.
casuals, your arena games.
Other than that, though, that ties up the set at 1-1, which means we go to a third game. We will be underway with that in just a moment, and we'll be back.
Ta-ta.
Hello, everybody. We are back with PentaChill versus BerGerr and the Support. This BerGerr is the Support, not BerGerr and the Support. This sounds like a cute children's book. Sorry. The teams have switched sides this time, so BerGerr is the Support is the left-hand blue team, and PentaChill is the right-hand red team. The score is tied, and we are looking at our picks and bans here. We've got an Oleron ban here to start, and an Ares ban, pretty standard stuff here.
Yes.
Slimer, say words.
I was enjoying it.
Were you? I wasn't.
I was. I could tell you wasn't, and that's why I was. Well, yeah, no. As Meg said, we see
I don't.
the quite typical bans. It'd be nice to see an ISIS ban though this time because, as you
Please.
remember from last game, ouch!
There it goes.
Oh, there goes the ISIS ban. Speak of the devil is here. So we've noticed that after the first game, we don't know what they banned in the first game, so we don't know if any was target bans. But the second game, 2/3 of the bans by
Both teams.
BerGerr Is My Support
Nope, both
were
teams had target
bans.
bans. Both
Well, it
teams had
wasn't as
target bans for the
much.
second half. No,
It wasn't as
both
much on
had
the side.
3 target bans. I promise. I pointed it out. You ignored me. We also see the Morgan ban here and a Jormungandr.
All very similar bans to before, except obviously the Jormungandr got through last time. I feel like no one really wants to play it though. It seemed to be something that they were like, well, this is going to work here, so I should probably do it. I don't think they particularly wanted to. It did put in a lot of work, so and you definitely do not want to fight into a Fed Yulm unless you have a strong character yourself.
We've
The
got the Zhonghui
return,
picked up though.
the return of the
Yeah.
Zhonghui. This is a solo Zhonghui, 100%. I
Mhm.
dread. I am looking at Red Team here. I noticed the entirely legitimate and not at all trolly hover of Loki. Like, oh, look at me, I'm cool.
But
You're not
Loki is
indeed.
definitely not the
You are
call
not.
here into a Zhonghui. Please.
No.
Let's not be
Thor,
this.
just a strong pick here. It makes
Uh-huh.
sense. You pick up the Thor, he does well. But
He's definitely got a potential to punish the Zhonghui. Zhonghui, a 2v1 situation early, if he's not super ahead, can definitely get punished by a
do a lot
Thor.
of damage. But equally, well, old Thor spin had such a long duration to it that Zhonghui could interrupt the majority of the damage. But now it's over so quickly, unless this Zhonghui has good reaction times, and unless he's staring directly at it, because don't forget it starts at 12 o'clock from the person and then goes round clockwise, and it is very slow, in fact. So if he catches Thor towards the end of his stun, of his third ability, that his spin will already have all gone off,
Mm-hmm.
and that is a ton of damage to deal with. We see the Erlang Shen picked up here. The Erlang Shen performed fairly well last game, but it didn't need to because the ISIS was there to do everything. And we obviously had support as well. They put in a lot of work. But I'm wondering, do you think this is going to be a Thor solo or a Thor support? Because I don't
That's a good
expect to
question.
see Erlang anywhere but jungle. I'm sure this
No.
Erlang is going to be a jungle pick. Oh, you've not seen a Pele pick for a while.
No,
Very,
but
very strong character.
yeah,
That
definitely very
insane
potent here.
mobility.
Yeah, she'll be able to run down even the likes of an Erlang Shen.
That is for sure.
Whew.
And that ult, you if we look in here, we've seen this Zhonghui always be picking up Pythag space. So it gives himself and his team lifesteal. I'm certain the Apollo will build lifesteal, and obviously Pele's passive, even if she doesn't build any sustain, is going to do a lot of work. So I am going to assume that red team here, whatever their names are going to opt
Team
for these
PentaChill.
relatively really okay. Are going to opt for this relatively early anti-heal to try and deal with this.
They pick up the Vulcan. An interesting choice. We that quite like that. We saw Isis in the last game, and what was
Merlin.
Merlin? It was Merlin.
Blink Merlin.
No,
I know.
no.
You didn't see it.
On that team, on PentaChill, who was I don't remember what their mid laner was that first game. Poseidon.
ISIS.
It was Poseidon. It was
Oh, the first game, yes, the first game was a Poseidon. And kept getting
so
air
Vulcan's
resulted.
a little bit of a different situation, but Vulcan has an escape of his own, which Poseidon and Isis don't quite have. That'll be interesting. Looking
You
at
say so?
bans. I say so. Looking at bans, we've got a ban of the Poseidon and the Nike for Team PentaChill and Hachiman and Sarnunos for BerGerr Is the Support. I really need to like put those up on the screen so I can see them.
So these two are both hunters that were picked up by Team PentaChill.
PentaChill.
Yeah. But now
I
we go
remember
for the
now.
Jingwei pick. I hate it.
Why do you hate it,
Honestly,
Slimer?
what's it gonna
Elaborate.
do? Their
It's
comp,
gonna farm stupid safely and run
they
away.
don't want to farm super safely. They want to exist in this early game. Again, if they let a Zhonghui Apollo Pele and a Thoth
Ugh.
get ahead,
You're not wrong.
red team do not have pressure early.
Yeah,
They don't have the
Law.
clear to be able to match the blue team. They don't have the DPS in a fight. They definitely don't have the sustain by comparison, especially if this is actually going to be a raw pick. Blue team, I just don't agree with this Jingwei. I would have liked to have seen a character that could have handled the early game a lot better. This on her change has made him
Mm,
a lot easier to play, and he is a fairly strong character, and he brings that early game pressure. You don't want to try and go in on her. Obviously, that Jingwei, very safe. You live and you run. You live and you run.
yeah,
But we
I.
see out this ADC, Mr. Infinis here, they've been absolutely farming in lane. They don't want to pick safe. They need to pick something where they themselves have some way of snowballing to be able to shut down the enemy comp. But it seems like instead of that, he wants to go for something where he can drag himself to late game, hope that the enemies aren't too fed already, and then attempt to carry. It's going to be a questionable pick, in my opinion. But at the same time, Bologna, I was talking about lack of early pressure. Bologna's the definition of early pressure. You don't
To
win
be
lane
sure.
against Bologna.
Yeah, hopefully she'll be able to stop the Zhonghui, but Zhonghui can interrupt her bludgeon, her primary lane clear there, so that
It doesn't
could be
matter though, because she's got those autos.
true. The cleave
But
autos.
obviously, Bologna's primary benefit in lane against your opponent is that you shut down the enemy's auto attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Zhonghui obviously uses his passive with the extra auto from his scroll. He does use it, but in the early game, it will be important that this Bologna can cripple him out. But once he gets to about level 7, he's going to clear anyway. He doesn't really care that much. So this Bologna's just she's not going to be able to stick because of that stun as we mentioned. She definitely
Mm-hmm.
cannot die with Zhonghui because he clicks 4, he'll be way too tanky. And so
Also,
it's going to be a
it
tough matchup there.
it also looks like this is an Erlang Shen port.
Oh, it was an Erlang support.
So that's going to be interesting. Erlang and Jingwei and Paulo and Najah be an interesting sort of matchup. Actually, it might not. It probably actually won't be that sort of a matchup. The supports have been rotating,
Yeah, I
but
imagine they will be gone for most of the game. If they ever were to stay in lane, though, it would be interesting to see whether the Najjar. It literally is all down to the supports. If one hits their ring bounce, that's that fight won. And then if the other one manages to successfully lock down the Apollo, who early game isn't going to have that much escape, that's also going to do a lot of work. But we will get into that later, and we shall see you when we get into the game.
bye.
Adios.
Hello, everybody, and we are back with BerGerr Is the Support versus PentaChill. BerGerr Is the Support is the order side this time, and PentaChill is the chaos side. Slimer, say words,
Indeed.
please.
Well, all my things messed up the order. Give me a second. You keep going.
Okay,
You're doing
Slimer is
fabulously.
putting things in order, and we're
There we
going to
go.
talk
They're in
about
order.
builds. Vulcan is rushing this Book of Thoth, and so is Raw, actually. Um, okay.
Do you notice something
Do
magical?
I? What am I? Magical? What's magical?
Look at Mr. Intrusive Bulk's relic.
Yo, Aegis, buddy, I'm proud of you.
We did it.
Um, I'm really,
We did it,
I'm
guys.
really hoping that Blink was a mistake that first game. Maybe he just
It
messed up.
wasn't a mistake.
Shh, I like to think
You
the best
just
of
know
people
it
because
wasn't.
I'm not a horrible person. Um,
What?
I just said I wasn't a horrible person. Oh my god, who am I?
Fabulous liar.
A fabulous liar.
Seems like the support is going to go for the good old run around the minions and steal the speed from behind. I
Good
think he just got
old.
spotted by those. archers though. They should know he's there.
Maybe. Pele's not really seeming
Aye,
wiser. He's
he's
going
just
right in
straight up
though. He
going
wants to
in.
fight the Pele. Okay.
Who cares about secure? I guess. No, there we go. He got it anyway.
Takes it anyways. That's a lot of murder.
Pele's got a passive available. If he tries to fight her, he could be stuck out of position here. It's going to be tough. I imagine he'll just turtle through her and out. There we go. Oh no.
Not
No,
out.
he might look to fight. She can win this fight. This could be tough for him. Unless she runs.
Raw's coming
case she
around
loses
here.
the
He's
fight.
aware now. And minions are trailing onto this Erlong. Erlong's
This
still
Pele
be positioning
has
rather
two
aggressively though.
bomb.
Oh
my
Thor
God,
onto this
look at
Pele.
that HP. Oh no, she's what?
Down she
This
goes.
Pele has no XP at all. The
Goodbye.
poor lass got 2 minions from speed buff, and that is it.
Yeah,
She's not got anything else.
That's rough. I think it's unfortunate to see that the mid laner didn't decide to collapse onto the Erlong. He had minions trailing onto him and could have done a lot of damage, and Raw threw a couple autos this direction and then just turned back to his own wave. Vulcan on the other team, on the other hand, went around to secure the kill on the Erlong instead. Or to help save the Erlong and secure the Pele.
For sure. Well,
That was
we
interesting.
see, again, as happened in the last 2 games, we get pressure on the side of BerGerr Is the Support for the solo lane. Because his support simply helped him do their blue and stole the enemy blue. Obviously, Bologna, she doesn't need blue too much, but it's going to eventually be important. Mid lane, this turret just terrorizing the support, Najar and Ra. And obviously, Erlang doing a lot of damage as well. As he
does.
But as I said, that ring toss, it stings a little. Especially if there aren't that many minions. It seems like Ra does not care for his Najar's HP. He would rather hit the turret a little bit. Pele looking to go for her own speed buff here. No one's there to contest her, so she gets it.
Yay!
Maybe we finally hit level 2. She hit level 2, guys!
I'm
we
so
did
proud
it.
of you.
There are level 4s in
PentaChill
this game,
here
specifically.
is just harassing into this Raw Naja. Those Vulcan turrets and the meatballs, they hurt. They hurt a
They
lot.
really do.
Vulcan's hurty, and Raw doesn't have enough online quite yet to really be healing that back. Gotta
See,
conserve
solo lane
mana.
out pressuring so hard thanks to getting that early game lead. We see. I wonder if he'll he should get ult off this wave. Blue did
The
spawn though,
Pele
so he might just stop it. Oh,
falls at her own blue buff though. Or no, Pele gets a kill at her own blue buff onto the Thor. That's a red buff. Thanks. Middle lane.
don't say thanks. People could have thought you corrected yourself.
Nah, I never
You
do that.
you could live with that much self-respect. But yes, no. A lot of people collapsed on that Thor trying to steal red. Big slash onto that Vulcan, and he's just getting beaten down. He doesn't care though. I just want to clear the wave.
Just
Running
living his
very low
life.
mana here, and it seems like blue team are looking to invade this red buff. Is Thor going to try and go in? Hammer is used. Are they going to? No. They're just going to leave. They're too worried about the Jing wave flying in or coming from any direction and everyone collapsing on them. So they're not going to try and get yet another kill on the Thor. Seems like solo lane.
Naja blink into the mid lane onto the Vulcan. Sash connects, but
Used.
Erlong sprints him out.
The ult is now available and he has no mana. Oh!
Oh, it
Just
does not
misses.
connect with the Naja.
Solo. Oh,
and
that was.
Thor
That
wall,
was.
while
If
the
that
Thor
wall
wall
was a
did
little
not
bit more
trap
to his
him on the
left-
side of the it did not trap him on the
Yeah.
side of the tower. The hammer was enough to kill the Naja.
Fortunately, that double tap did connect. The Najar baited in. It was so close. It brushed that Vulcan's ass, but it did not do quite as close of a shave as maybe that Najar had wanted. Better luck next time.
Better luck next time, indeed. Over on the right-hand side, Zhonghui isn't in as powerful a lead as he was last game, even though he got the early
I mean,
lead
he
from
has
the
been the whole time. He's stolen every blue.
right,
I
but
don't
it's
know
not
how.
as
Oh, the ult is popped. Bologna just really wants that totem, and she's
interesting
going to
choice.
get it. So that's something.
And she's gonna continue fighting into the Zhonghui. The Zhonghui doesn't have mana, but he does have mana buff that Bologna does not.
Yeah.
Bologna's still here fighting. She's gonna
Oh,
turn on the
the 3
minions.
does not connect.
and she walks away. Interesting choice to stick around onto that Totem of Coup there. She did. I
Worked
mean,
out
she
well.
has. Yeah, it worked out. She had the.
In mid lane here, Erlang dashing in. Najjar Sash does not connect, but this Ra is out of position.
Big
But they're
Vulcan
going to
ult
go on
coming
this
up
Najjar.
side.
Oh, that massive Vulcan hill hits both the support and the mid lane from opposite sides of the map. That Thor wall, that Najjar couldn't go anywhere. She was completely trapped into that. I've also noticed how much this mid laner despises picking up his red buff. They don't seem to be getting that particularly often here. They drop it, but they don't. Oh, solo kill over here. What was I saying? Oh, Jingwei's just gonna farm. She's not going to do anything. But nope, nope. She got a solo
She's
kill.
definitely playing aggressively. She used the ult to aggress and secure the kill. Often we see Jingwei's using it to escape instead of aggress, which is
But
reasonable considering the
obviously-
ult is difficult to use to aggress on with. It's very choreographed.
I mean, it's also fatter than anything.
True.
And if you've knocked them up
but it's short.
beforehand, you can usually get them. What do you mean short?
Like it's not very long. I don't know. I don't like Jingwei.
Have you
ult.
played Jingwei before?
Yeah.
Because
But it's short
known as
compared
one of
to
the
like.
easier ults to hit because it's massive.
Really? I always think of it as like. I don't know. Okay, never mind.
It's
In the
'cause
mid
it's so
lane, we've got
fat.
Erlang Shen using his.
It's not like a chode, but it's fairly decent.
Stop!
Bring
Got
and
Erlang
be
Shen using his.
used in mid lane. Oh, big Ra
Big
snipe
Ra.
takes out the Vulcan, but the Thor ult dunks down and finishes off the Jar. Oh,
Naja?
blink used by the Thor, but oh, brilliant Aegis, and the Ra gets the kill. Thor just really wanted to go for that kill. Oh, Polo gets a return kill. Oh my lord, they went from 1 and 4 to 4 and 5. This
Very
is
nice. Naja might have actually lived in that situation. He was in a position to ult, but he just barely missed
yeah.
either the Erlang and the Vulcan. He kind of just split right down the middle of the two.
But that Ra managed to hit a snipe completely free in the
That
middle
was-
of a Vulcan backfire.
That was beautiful. Not
That
gonna
was
lie.
that was incredibly good. Almost makes up for the whole blink situation. Sash on the Vulcan again. This Najjar is just terrorizing the poor guy. Interesting to see he's gone for this Book of Thoth rush. He's not really looking to snowball, but the same thing here for the Ra as well. It's a fairly decent rush, especially if your opponent goes for the same, because if you get behind your enemy and they went for a Book of Thoth rush, it's going to be so hard to be as relevant as them in the later game. Especially a character like Vulcan. He plonks down his turret, and then he just runs around, lets the turret kill you.
That's the turret
Unless
kill
there's a
you.
Najjar, and then
Nasha's
the
over
turret
here
kills himself.
looking at invading this red buff, but too much of Team PentaChill is right over there. He's just gonna walk away.
He's selected for those warrior tab, not the traveler's shoes, and the traveler's shoes have been nerfed relatively heavily, so it does not surprise me that much. But equally, it would be nice to see him have the ability. Oh, Pele gets a good gank on this Vulcan. The Ra ult does not connect. The Vulcan ult is used to try and peel for himself. The Pele 2, I guess, was not available, for I did not see it used. But maybe she didn't max it first, and it was just a short little thing. It's up to the player. But this Ra is dishing out that damage.
That's for sure.
He's really putting in a lot of work right now. We'll see. Oh, Najjar blinks in and ults that Vulcan.
Thor's up in the air though, waiting for
He's
Naja
dead
to come
already.
down, and he's right on top of that Naja. Looks like Naja's gonna fall. Thor and Erlang ult were just a bit too much for him.
Najjar didn't want to move anyway. Right for the CC check.
Exactly. But he did take that Vulcan down before he went down himself. Relatively
And that-
worthwhile trade, support for the mid laner.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
gives
true.
that Raw a good chance to get some more stacks on that Book of Thoth on top of the Vulcan. Catch up on those. I can't actually tell how many each one has. 16 and
46.
46? I thought that was... Okay. So,
46 on the Ra and 30 on the Vulcan.
gotcha. So even more
It
ahead.
just changed. I'm not giving a live update on how many
I
Book of
believe
Thoth
you.
stacks they have, because I think that's the
And
most
now
dull thing
it's
I could do.
48 and 32.
Apollo ulting to mid, maybe? No?
Jingwei?
He's having a
Onto the
happy ride.
Jingwei? Maybe? Not? Okay.
In the direction
whoa!
of it. Oh, nice
Ra-
rotation onto that solo. Look at that HP of that tower. We stopped looking at solo again. We mentioned how
Whoa.
Blona was doing fairly well for herself. She's 3 levels down and her tower's almost dead.
Well, well, heck.
Things have changed.
For the 12 seconds I was looking at Bologna, she had pushed Zhonghui up the tower, okay?
I think, let's be honest, I think it was just in his interest. I just wanted to wander over the tower. I don't think this Zhonghui cares particularly about what anyone does.
True. Well, with
Except for
that, Zhonghui
himself.
has taken the first tower of this game, and that
Sorry,
gives
can you get invited to parties while spectating?
I don't believe so.
Because I'm fairly sure somebody just invited me, because that was an annoying boom to hear in the middle
Well,
of the...
feels Smite. Over in the middle lane, we've got 3 people eyeballing this Raw here, but Naja's around the back line, and he's gonna look for a gank here to peel off this Thor. Or they're just gonna fight at the Oracles. Sure. Fine. Bruh. Pele's rotating around also in Zhonghui's jungle. Erlong goes out looking for the Pele, but I don't think he knows that Zhonghui is right there. Zhonghui
Ooh. Pele 2 interrupts the Erlang ult, and he takes so much damage without those mitigations. I don't think he realized it was interrupted. Pele's still looking to fight, but she is very low, and there's the bludgeon, smacks her down. Najat ult just misses the Vulcan backfire, peels himself off. Massive
nice
roll over the
ult.
wall. Look at that. That Vulcan did not know what just hit him. Thor is ulting.
Looking for that Zhonghui
Pushed...
probably in the
Oh
back.
no, he's going on
The Raw?
the air in front of the Raw.
Oh. Well, almost the Raw. Zhonghui's harassing the backline though, and he's looking for that Bologna. Bologna barely escapes with her life.
It's interesting to note that both ADCs here have
Thor
a lot
blinks
of
across
rotational
here.
ability.
Over to the speed buff, but not to the Zhonghui. Zhonghui steals the
Erlang
buff,
sprinting after him. He's
but
got 3
Zhonghui's just
levels
gonna
down
walk away.
and he's a support. What does he expect to happen here? He's already half. There we go.
Yeah, in that last fight,
In the meantime, blue team.
over on this.
Oh, that was a lack of. Oh no, Jingwei almost gets the
Jingwei
kill
does
though.
not steal it. Let's see.
No, Jingwei doesn't steal it. No.
It does not. I said does not.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Pele walks away. Just barely dodging that Jingwei ult,
Ooh,
and
that's a big Jingwei knock-up. Here comes the wonderful Mez. Najat ult connects, but there's no one there to follow up. He
over
might
on
just
the
be getting
backside,
to land.
Vulcan's harassing
Oh,
the Apollo and
Erlang's
the
so
Raw. Barely, Apollo and Raw managed to walk away from that, but that was a lot of damage from that Vulcan onto both of them.
So many people lived on such low health in that engagement there.
On both sides.
It seems
That
like,
was-
look at that fat wave and left, good lord.
Woo!
That tower does not stand a chance. And they did
No.
manage to pick up mid-tier 1 as well in this engagement.
Mhm.
Is
Looks
Apollo
like-
ulting?
Yeah, he did ult
Yeah.
down.
He
Looks
did?
like they're gonna try for this tier 2 also.
No, they're not going
Nope.
to try for that.
Well-
Yeah, they're just going to
Just-
wander off. It seems like blue team are just going for Pyro. Trading tier 1 for Pyro? That's an
I
alright trade.
guess. Yeah.
Oh, they did trade 2 tier 1s, admittedly. And a lot of lives. But no,
Mhm.
this game is the closest one so far.
Yeah,
Both the
definitely.
previous 2 games have been kind of snowbally stomps by both teams, but this is a very, very close game. Although blue team are 3,000 gold ahead after getting both Pyro and the Gold Fury, it's certainly.
Erlong Shen really wants to kill this Zhonghui here, using his ult on him. But
We just ignore that because that's never
Erlong's
happened.
still the tank.
Yeah, no, if we see an Erlang and a Zhonghui together, no one's dying in there.
He's doing some damage. He's trying.
No, he's not. Zhonghui walks away. He doesn't care.
Okay, you're not wrong.
Like the only person who could win that fight would be Zhonghui.
well,
Erlang just
fine.
cannot do anything with it. Oh, I've been invited again. I swear. I need to go D&D before I spectate next time. That is. Good job I'm not the camera person. Otherwise that'd piss everyone else off as well.
That's
Oh, Thor ult lands down. I said Erlang can't kill him, but maybe the rest can. Sprint is popped again, but there's the Zhong ult under tower. Look at that tankiness.
ooh,
He is
Erlong
so
just
healthy.
barely keeps this
They're
tower.
trying to chase it down. Oh, Bologna ult does not connect. She's tanking tower. Look how low she is. The last the lot shot doesn't get a chance to connect because Najjar's brink toss.
And
The
Thor's
Thor
out
is
of mana
in,
and
but
on
he
the run.
blinks out. Oh, but Najjar
Pele's
blinks
right
in.
there.
Pele 2 does
And
not
the
connect.
nice
Raw
raw
ult
ult
does
does
not
not
connect.
connect.
Najjar Sash does not connect. Zhonghui 1 does connect, and Raw 2 does as well. The Duke boots were good, but
Yeah.
they're not good enough to deal with 4 people hitting you.
They were good for the Zhonghui, but not good enough.
Over
for
during lane, this Jingwei just used her one to give herself some extra damage on the tower. She was ignoring the Apollo until she decided to start fighting him, as is wont to happen in these situations.
In the mid lane
Najar
of
slashing in mid. Erlang turtling in. He cancels it slightly too early and doesn't actually connect onto that Ra with it. And look at that, how much HP he's lost. This Ra is really, really starting to junk right now. And obviously Najar always does a large amount of damage. You see the pings coming out? They suspect that maybe Jingwei's rotating up to where she was. I don't think they're quite aware that she's long gone. She's just coming to a red buff the other way now.
Indeed.
Indeedy doody.
Indeedy doody. What the heck did you just make me say?
I didn't make you say it. You didn't copy me.
I was about to comment on how Ra and Vulcan have very, very similar builds, and they still do, but Ra has opted for the Soul Reaver, while Vulcan has opted for the Book of the Dead.
Well, we see this Vulcan getting focused down by this Najar quite often, and because all of Najar's damage is instance based, it's not burst. That Book of the Dead will proc quite early on, or quite soon after he drops below that health threshold, and it could keep him alive. But honestly, if he's up in the air and there's a Ra waiting underneath,
That Book of the Dead passive is not going to be big enough
it doesn't
shield.
make a difference. He's dead already. I mean, obviously he's built those cooldown boots. He has a fully stacked Book of Thoth. He has a decent amount of mana to benefit from to benefit the Book of the Dead. But I don't think it's enough. I think he will still get bursted out because he's not got any base health to start with.
Everyone's grouping up around this Gold Fury. PentaChill really outnumbers BerGerr Is THE Support.
Ra caught out. Oh, not Ra. Sorry, Pele caught out
Catch up to
position,
Pele.
but she beats and she clicks 3. Bologna ults to try and chase that.
But cannot close the difference. That's a
Erlang ults
little
as well
goes far.
to
Not
force
that
out
far.
the beats. Sprint is popped to.
Nasha on the backline
the
here has to ult
Thor
away.
wall. That Thor, they sprint and then the Thor wall locks them all off. That was unfortunate. The Zhonghui is here though.
Zhonghui's just partying all by himself.
Oh my
Big
lord.
stun from the
He's
Zhonghui.
very low on HP though.
Oh,
they
but
pick him
the
off.
Vulcan ult and the Ra ult.
They lose nothing for that. All they use is the Vulcan ult. Blue team are very low. But that celestial
That was
beam.
a lot.
That was a nice snipe. And
Oh,
that was
heck.
their main DPS on the Gold Fury. They've got no chance of doing that now.
Yep.
They don't have the sustain on the Vulcan to be able to continue with this. It seems like they're going to still go for it. But the Apollo and Ra are both here and they both know what's going on.
And Vulcan
very
is not here to
healthy.
put the DPS on.
Yeah, no, the red team see him coming and they realise they need to leave. Ra is behind everyone though. He is out of position. He may be fairly fed. Orbeez and Aegis used, and there comes the support Apollo with the Mez.
Support
Vulcan
Apollo.
backflies into the ether. The ether was not happy about it.
Erlang Shen's still sticking
Apollo
around with
ulting
plenty of
in.
health. Apollo's ulting in on him. Erlang's got no mana now though, after that aggressive turtle into the Ra. And
Apollo ult
Apollo
is not
goes in onto the Vulcan.
And the Erlang's just going to wander away. Much
Nice
too
and
tanky
tanky.
for them to kill.
But now BerGerr Is THE Support is actually looking at the Primal Fury, Oni Fury, whichever Fury this is. It says Oni, by the way. It's the Oni Fury instead.
And it also shows on the minimap. Can you? Oh, you're colorblind, aren't you? Never mind.
Thanks. Yeah, I know. What's happening? Zhonghui's pushing this tower with his cool passive thing that makes his autos do an extra however much damage it is. Half damage? To 1.5 times?
Yeah.
Which is cool. Zhonghui needed that extra auto attack damage.
I mean, he did when he was awful.
Yeah, true.
But since they
Less
changed the way his
awful.
passive works, and that he gets the stacks more. What
Raw to secure that Pyromancer.
No, but no, it didn't. Did you see where the raw ult went?
I know. I thought it hit at least.
No,
Oh.
it was 90 degrees the wrong direction.
Oh, well. No, it wasn't. It was off to the side, but it wasn't
On my
missing.
screen, the damage didn't connect. and the ult itself was positioned 90 degrees in the wrong direction.
Okay, on
Don't
my
worry.
screen, it was just
Spectate
slightly
client
to the left.
is reliable. To the
And
left? Mine was to the right. It looked like he was shooting at the blue buff. I was looking over there to see if there was anyone there. John Quay is currently
Okay.
out of position. He pops his ult. Thor ult does not connect. He pops his sprint. None of these abilities is connecting. He is so tanky. They're trying to chase him. Bologna ult once again is not going to connect. It looks like he might be interested in fighting them. Red team don't want to risk it anymore. Oh, he's baiting them,
Naja
moving
and
that
Ra are
back.
both also rotating around here to help their Jean Kui and pick up some kills.
Look at that
Thor's leading,
sustain.
but
Naja
Bologna
sashes
gets
in.
caught up with a
Ult's
Naja
in.
sash and ult. And there goes
Bologna's dead
Bologna.
before she lands.
Erlong Shen's showing up here, but it's a bit too little too late. Looks like he's gonna interrupt the back of the Jean Kui, but all of his team has since left and he is out as well. Apollo's still pushing on this left tower. Jingwei's gonna come in, but she's too late to save the tower, and Apollo is not interested in taking the tier 2.
Let's just pay attention here. We've got a beat stick on the Thor. We've got Pestilence on the Bologna. And now we have a Divide on the Vulcan. I don't
Ra
see any
heals.
first tanks.
That's true. But Ra heals, Pele heals, Jean Kui heals.
No, I'm saying it's not enough anti-heal. I'm not saying that there's too much.
Yeah.
I wanted to see more of it and earlier. I don't want to see a cursed tank rush, but the fact that there isn't any cursed tank, that upgraded cursed tank, the fact that you take 10% extra damage for being healed. Pele, it's integral to her kit. She drops below half health with a cursed tank on her. That's it. She's screwed.
She should be
Naja
gone. Yeah.
clicks 2. That's it. It's procced on him. Jean Kui clicks 2 with anything on people. That's it. Ra 3 anywhere on the field. That's it. They're going to take so much more damage. I understand the want for these shells.
Yeah, but I don't think double shell is necessarily.
Heavens no, and it's
Pele being caught out here.
Shells are through auto attacks.
But she picks up.
Jean Kui's here.
And Jean Kui is here, all over this Bologna. Bologna ults away. But Jean Kui
was
is
chased. Never mind.
Down.
He doesn't anymore. Look at that Ra 1 damage. Pridwind does give him an extra little shield there, and Erlang is actually back to full health again. Oh my! Look at that damage. This Erlang is not tanky enough to be able to deal with this Ra. Oh, the big Vulcan ult, but the big
bigger Ra ult.
Yeah, 2 people.
Vulcan having to use his beads and Aegis there to escape.
And he might still die.
Yep, Jean Kui is coming at him with a vengeance.
Lose his life, but this Jingwei is definitely going to pick up the Jean Kui. 100%, there we go. If you didn't, I would have been very, very sad. Thor ults out, manages to live. Apollo seems to want to ult in on something.
But with Thor long gone and Jingwei with a lot of health.
Left.
Minions in left.
You grab that, that's what you got your ult for.
Yep.
Get that extra farm.
Go you. Proud of you. I mean, it's important. Defending things, dealing damage, you know. Stuff. Pinging. Pele here, a little bit out of position in the mid lane here, but Thor and Jingwei are not interested in her, and Pele's gonna wander away off to her left side mids.
Pele does have that blink available still. I'm honestly quite disappointed. This jungle, Big Rom here, we've seen him put in a lot of work, especially in that first game. I mean, to be fair, in the first game everyone put a lot of work. But he's just not really showing up right now. I've
and you'd think on a character like Pele, he's got a lot of potential to be everywhere and kill things. And yeah, I do feel he's not necessarily fan. He's God. Maybe he's not as comfortable on it.
This Naja is locking down the Vulcan.
Pele ults into the.
There seems to be a fight over and left.
Nice roll onto the
Jingwei. There, and they are very far out of position. Thor ult coming in. Pele just loses her life. Nothing really comes of it. The Ra gets plonked down on. Bees and Aegis used. He is still alive for now, but nope, that's it. He is taken out. That extra power that Bologna ult gives. No one really thinks about it, but it really does put in a lot of work, if I'm perfectly honest.
Naja pushes down the right side tier 2, while Team PentaChill goes in onto Gold Fury.
But Jean Kui is coming. Everyone on red team is full health. I do not believe that he can do much with this. He may steal it though. It
looks like he does steal the Gold Fury, and Apollo jumps right on in, and he takes out Thor. Apollo doing the damage, but not enough.
Instantly. Level 20 Jingwei is spreading right now. Zhonghui is going to fall as well. God, look how close this game is. Oh, but Najar, look what he's been doing.
That's a whole Phoenix for that Najah, so that's definitely very worthwhile in that
Their
case.
support just split pushed the entirety of a tier 2 and the entirety of a Phoenix in that engagement.
Uh-huh.
Jingwei
And
trying to chase him down, but I don't think he can. I don't think
I
he can.
think he
Never
can.
mind.
I think he
Najar was
can.
fine until he went round that way. If he'd carried on towards blue buff, he would have escaped. But alas, that is not what he's going to go for.
Even so, PentaChill, PentaChill did manage to steal the Gold Fury out from the feet of BerGerr the Support,
Yes.
but BerGerr the Support, despite several players dying, managed to secure a Phoenix. A whole
I
Phoenix.
mean, it wasn't really a steal as they were the ones doing the Gold Fury.
I said secure.
Secured it. Oh, I thought you said steal.
Um,
One of us
and
as
other.
well. Yeah, you did.
No,
Our
I
broadcaster
definitely said
has
secure.
now agreed with me.
I definitely said secure.
Thank you very much.
Y'all can suck it. We're
I'd
warding
rather
up
not.
around this fire. We're warding up around this fire giant pit here. Pele's looking at the pyromancer, but
She
3
started
people
it.
on PentaChill are right here. But
Who,
Pele
who
zooms out.
took over this Pele's account? This wasn't the Pele I saw in the first games. I mean, it's been a long set, to be fair. And it's been
True.
very back and forth. I can believe
The
that being quite bad. The Roro does
Erlang
connect on
Shen
both attacks
misses
for a
the
lot of
pyromancer.
damage. Zhonghui wanders in. Thor ult is used. It is not going to connect onto that Ra though. And now the Zhonghui is there to try and get him out. Sprint has been used. Thor blinks out. Ra's Book of the Dead is procs. Vulcan Turret does a good 50% of his health, including Book of the Dead there. It's quite an ability.
4 members of PentaChill tried to stick around on that pyromancer, but Zhonghui was right there, and they were not having it.
You don't. That Zhonghui, he might not be as fed as last time, but he's
Still
at late
scary.
game. And that is very, very difficult to deal with.
Now Thor is on this pyromancer on his own, but Zhonghui's over zoning off the Vulcan and the Erlang Shen. Vulcan ults to try and defend himself, but looks like there goes actually goes the Zhonghui down to the Erlang Shen.
Instantly bursted. This Pele is actually putting in work here in this fight. Did a lot of damage, but unfortunately could not grab the kills with those shells. Ra ult unfortunately does not connect. Apollo seems to be ulting onto this Vulcan here. In mid lane, this Thor is brought down to 1 HP. Ra's auto does connect, but it doesn't do enough damage. Apollo ult, however, does connect.
Yep, he decided to go down into the mid lane instead of the Vulcan. He took quite a bit of time deciding where he wanted to go, but ultimately going into the mid lane seems to be the correct decision.
Seems like they've traded 2 for 2 here. But don't forget, this red team here have to try and defend this Phoenix.
Team BerGerr the Support is going onto this fire giant here.
Fire giant itself.
They do have plenty of
They can
DPS
get
for
it
it,
in
and
time.
Nasha's tanky. Looks like they're going
Erlang
to
is
take
here,
it and
but
run.
it's not in time. Now they're just going to try and disengage. Red
And
team
they're
spent a
off
lot of
screen.
time. This Bologna sat in that fountain for I think about 20 seconds. She disengaged very early in the fight and then she sat in the fountain. I do not know why. But they lost Fire Giant because of it, because she was not there to delay it. It is essential that you leave fountain as quickly as you can. At this juncture, waiting for a single tier of an item, it's not going to be worth it.
That's a lesson
want
Meg
to
may
be
or may
out
not
there
need to
to
learn
defend
still.
Yes, I know.
I'm frequently guilty of doing that. Of sitting in, I just spawned and I'm still
Hey
sitting
Meg,
in
where
base
you?
for 20 seconds.
Where are you, Meg? Oh,
It takes me a second. I'm really
I got
bad
300
at
gold
providing
away from this item. Just leave me
No,
alone.
I don't do that. I do not wait for items, but I do. I may or may not think a lot about what items to buy.
That's fair.
Which is good. Thinking is important. I don't do enough of that when I play Smite.
I don't believe you do any, if I'm perfectly honest.
Thanks. You don't have to be so.
Any? Oh, that was
Nasha
a big
blinking
Najar
in
blink
onto this.
ult. But it's a Jingwei. Is she going to get away in time? No.
She
Aegis
goes for
pops.
the Aegis.
Oh, that was a big Thor ult, but it's not a. Look at that damage. 387, 387. This Apollo is chunking that Thor. And now, 2 members of Red Team have lost their lives. And the Apollo and Ra still have their Fire Giant buffs. They are still going to chunk.
And they're all pushing it on this. Oh, there
look
goes.
At that! That Erlang,
Ooh.
he's not tanky. Look at
Not-
that. No one tanky could take that much damage.
Tank
But
who?
saying that, this Najar's lost a lot of health as well. Not that it matters because he's got his 2
Raw
and he's got
heals.
Ra for heal.
Ra goes for the ult, only hitting the minions, not connecting onto the Bellona,
The
who
Ra
I'm
wanted to be a
assuming
little snazzy there.
was his target. But
Whoa,
Bellona will fall
look at that
regardless.
burst!
Donkey, Ra, Naja damage. Pele dives in to try and zone this Zhonghui off, Vulcan off of this tower, and she is successful while her team takes that tier 2 tower.
I'm surprised they're not pushing for the Phoenix here because over right lane that was a fire wave pressuring into that Phoenix there. They would have been 5v2 because they would have been forced to defend that thing. It definitely would have had. Oh, the Najar ult does not connect, but did the Najar just auto that Vulcan for half his health?
Yeah, he did. That was.
I'm glad
quite
this
a bit of
Najar
damage.
support. Your Vulcan's
Yeah,
happy about that.
the Naja actually, despite being support, has quite the hybrid build. I just noticed really.
It's quite a lot of pen in that build.
Yeah, and that hurts. Gosh, it hurts.
It hurts. It hurts in so many ways.
Team BerGerr Is the Support takes the other Fury, the Primal Fury, the green one.
No,
and
that's
now,
blue.
what? No,
It's a
don't
blue
tell me
one.
that. No, don't do this to me.
You gotta mess with them when they're colorblind. It
You're
breaks them.
colorblind too.
Look here, okay. I'm fake colorblind. I'm just very bad at telling pink and purple apart. Apparently, it's not really a real colorblind. But if somebody asks me it's pink or purple, I won't know. What's the difference? You know.
Color blindness aside, Team BerGerr Is the Support is gonna
important
start
aspect of
looking
this game
for
right
this
now.
fire giant on which is on its
What?
way back up.
Is it? When you say
Is
on
it?
its way,
Like a minute? That's.
a minute?
I don't know how timers work in this game. I'm bad,
Like
y'all.
2.5 minutes.
Shh. No, it's not. What? How long does fire giant take? Is it 5 minutes, guys?
Yeah.
I should probably play in my tournament
like
instead of
6
just run it
minutes.
because
I feel
I
like
have a
it's
lot to learn.
Because it lasts for a while, doesn't it?
No,
It
it
lasts
lasts
for
for
like
3 minutes. It lasts for 3. I thought.
200 seconds. Is it just 180 seconds?
Okay,
Anywho,
okay,
what
fighting
the hell was that? Raw just killed the entire team by himself. That was a massive Raw roll. This Vulcan's getting chased down. He's forced to use beads with this Zhong Kuei slow on him. Apollo circling like a vulture. He lands down. He gets the Jing Wei. That's what she gets for getting ulted instantly. This Palo going on
ult to defend
Vulcan,
himself.
but look at that damage.
Ooh, but the raw celestial beam is right there.
Oh, Thor tries to TP out, but nope, there's an Najar ult. You're not getting anywhere. This Ra is just running forwards. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about all this damage he's taken. Oh my lord, look at this. Look at this instant turnaround. That fight was so close, but that Ra. The Ra just... Ooh!
In the
Bad Ra, people. Right,
and
bad Ra.
Sorry about the screeching, guys. But that was hot. Wow.
You see, the best part about this is I've got people in the other room screeching lit watching motorbike racing. They just put me in the mood.
BerGerr Is the Support is just gonna pressure down on this Phoenix, and I mean, what else did they do? They got a nice deicide, and that was.
I mean, it's scummy what that Ra's doing right now, but he did kind of carry.
That game was definitely closer through most of the game than the other two were, but at the end of the day, BerGerr Is the Support. It feels like their win was very dominant, despite most of the game being relatively even.
We'll pretend that Pele just wasn't in the game because the damage numbers. We just won't worry about it, shall we? Well, she really showed up for that first game, and the second game did very well. But it's just that third game, I think, just maybe a bit tired, maybe a bit rushed. Wanted to get it over with. But whatever the case, that was a very exciting final to that set. Very back and forth throughout those games.
Yeah, no, that was really good. I'm not sure. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Congratulations to
Congratulations.
For proceeding to whatever the next round is. Semi-finals?
Yes, they are. This was the last group stage match. With this victory, they have secured their spot in the finals tournament. I'm not entirely sure where they're seated for that. Don't ask me. Off the top of my head, I don't know anything. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing another game here today.